Hi, this is Bill Rayback at East Clinton High School with the East Clinton Dual Meet, our first TV broadcast on GVTVR. I'm here with Mr. Robert Haynes, an OHSAA official for wrestling, and we're going to talk about some of the finer points of the wrestling matches. And Robert, two wrestlers start in the up position. What constitutes a takedown?
It's called neutral. A neutral. When they're both on the feet, it's called a neutral position. A takedown is when one guy is on the mat and every guy has control, which means he has reasonable restraint over the guy that is down.
So we're in this position where the man has him down. Describe what a reversal would be.
It's pretty selfish. It's when they totally reverse positions. The guy was down ends up being on top, and he has control.
Man's on top, a man gets up, and he gets an escape. What would be an escape?
That would be when there is no control by either person.
The next scoring thing we'd like to talk about is we have a 2-point near fall and a 3-point near fall. What is the difference between those two, and what is a near fall?
A near fall is when you're in your back gets exposed, your shoulder blades is less than a 45-degree angle, within 4 inches of the mat, parallel with 4 inches of the mat, or what they call the high bridge, your bridge on back head. It must be maintained for 2 consecutive seconds to get a 2-point near fall. If you maintain it for 5 seconds or more, you get a 3-point near fall.
And then in match scoring, before we go to that, at the end of the first period, the wrestlers will go into what process at that point?
Okay, then they have a pre-meet and a dual meet. One wrestler is what they say you have choice in the second period. You have a choice, you can defer your choice to the third period. You can pick the neutral position.
You'll be right here.
The top referee's position, or you can pick the bottom referee's position.
Okay.
And then obviously in the third period, the other wrestler, that would be his turn to have the same choices except for the defer. Obviously you're not going to defer, it's your last choice.
Right, okay. Now as we go into at the end of the match and we have what we call a decision, could you describe the match scoring for us for a dual meet?
Match scoring is the biggest points is your 6 points, which is a pin, a forfeit, an injury disqualification, which is called a default, a disqualification, flagrant misconduct, all of those is 6 points. Then we have a tech fall, which is once a wrestler gains a 15-point advantage, which would be difference, the match is stopped and they get 5 points. A major decision is a point difference of 8 or more, and then anything under that would be a 3-point decision.
Okay. And as far as a pin, I guess we didn't touch on that. What constitutes a pin where they would get 6 points and end the match?
Any part of either shoulder blade touching the mat for 2 seconds.
Okay.
But it's not actually a real long 2-second count.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Robert, appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time talking with us.
Thanks.
Yep. That's Robert Haynes, OHSA wrestling official. And here's my partner in crime, Chuck Hale. Chuck's going to be doing the play-by-play for us tonight. Chuck, you want to give us a little background on yourself with the wrestling program here at East Clinton?
Sure. I was one of the assistant coaches that helped start the program here a couple years ago. This is my first year not coaching with the program, but excited to see it go on and continue. And it's been a great start. Been a lot of fun. Been a real growing process, a lot of growing pains, but again, we enjoyed it. So.
Okay. And what year did the program start, Chuck?
It started 6 years ago, and we started with a junior high team. I had a lot of 7th graders. Those young men just graduated last year, so we've had one class go all the way through now.
Good. So. Good. And I know the Biddy program has been very successful. I hear the numbers are really good this year. Would you talk a little bit about the Biddy program?
Yeah, the Biddy program, I believe they start with 2nd graders and go up through 6th grade. And they've got about 60 kids in that program, so it's pretty exciting. It gives them a chance to get started and introduces the sport to young kids because, let's face it, wrestling is not a very well-known sport to people that are outside the sport.
Household sport.
Exactly, yeah.
Very good. Well, we'll be looking forward to getting going here in a few minutes with the East Clinton Duels, and I'll be back with Chuck here in Looks like about 4 minutes before we start.
Great.
Okay. Thanks, Chuck.
Thank you, Bill.
All right. Okay.
All right, you're back on.
All right, Lee, you're back on.
All right, thank you. Lee Hendee here. Thanks to Coach Rayback and company for kind of previewing the meet here today at East Clinton High School. And Rick Phillips, we're going to have something new and something different here for us, and it's going to be exciting as we launched the East Clinton Sports Channel right here in Lees Creek, Ohio. And I believe, is our chat room going to be up and running today?
Yeah, in fact, chat room is up, Lee. Let me check here to make sure.
All right. Well, anyway, we're going to have some great matches from various schools, and we'll have a lot of exciting things going on here, and we'll be talking about those things as things progress here at Lees Creek. And I'm sure that they'll have all the action for you here very shortly at Lees Creek, Ohio. Rick, if you want to talk a little bit about gtvr.net, what it is, and what we're going to be doing over the next several months and years and whatever.
Well, I don't know about the next several years, Lee, but I know that there's a lot of exciting new developments with GTVR. First of which, obviously, is that we're expanding our sports part of our network, and we are introducing the East Clinton channel. And we are also going to be looking, obviously, with other schools, other entities that we can be adding channels to our network. Not just in sports, but obviously, as we've said before, in other types of programs. It could be politics, it could be religion. Anything that, whether it's controversial or not, we like to present, both sides of the equation here. We'd also like to make sure that everybody has a voice, regardless of how they
All right. Very good. I think we're getting ready to get started as they're calling the wrestlers back and getting them ready for the first round here. So while we do that, we're going to turn it back over up to our announcers and let them have at it.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, we live in the greatest country in the world with freedoms like no other. To honor America and respect for all who have served our country to defend the freedoms we enjoy, we ask gentlemen to remove their hats and stand for the playing of our national anthem, the Star Spangled Banner.
Whether it's controversial or not, we like to present both sides of the equation here, and also like to make sure everybody has a voice. Regardless of how they all right. Very good. I think we're getting ready to get started as they're calling the rest and getting them ready for the first round here. So while we do that, our announcers have a
The
right, I guess we're ready to be ready here. This is Rick Phillips. I'm with Lee Hendee and the crew here at East Clinton High School in Lees Creek, Ohio. We're going to be bringing you wrestling, or as we say in Beaver Creek, where I grew up, wrestling live and in full color here. So we want everybody to join us in our chat room. If you have any questions, if you have any comments as far as the wrestling matches, feel free to get in our chat room and comment. You can also text us, and you can text us. Lee, what's your phone number there so we can get some text? What's your phone number for the text? 937-527-2725. So feel free to text Lee. We'll mention you on the air. If you have a question, we'll try to answer it on the air. Go into our chat room, and certainly, if we see you in the chat room, we'll acknowledge your presence, and we will answer your questions. But we're ready for some wrestling. We've got a tournament here with, I guess it's 6 teams here today. And the teams here, obviously East Clinton and Williamsburg, Roger Bacon, Indian Hill, Laughlin, and I guess I've covered them all, right? North College Hill. Used to date a girl in North College Hill. Her father owned a pony cake down there. All right, I'm getting too much information. Anyway, okay, I'm going to turn it over to our announcers for the contest here.
Thanks, Rick. This is Bill Rayback, and with my partner Chuck Hale. The first match that we're going to be broadcasting here is East Clinton versus Indian Hill. On the mat 2, it's time permitting, we will get some of those matches. We'll have Williamsburg against Laughlin, and the on-deck match is Roger Bacon and North College Hill. Chuck, our first, looks like we're going to get what they would call a forfeit in the first match, or for 106.
Right.
And who do we have there at 106 for the Astros?
For East Clinton, it's Josh Jones, and basically, like you said, this is a forfeit, which means that the other team does not have a wrestler in that weight class. So really, we won this one on the scale this morning when they weighed in.
Very good, yes, and we'll be getting 6 points as a team for that
6 points,
one.
that's right. It goes down as what would be a pin, just a 6-point victory.
Okay, a little bit about Josh Jones. He's a sophomore. He's 8-8 this year. Josh had a nice year, and Josh steps onto the mat. The official raises his hand, and we've got our first match of the day.
He's up 6-0 right now.
Okay. Next match, we have Jeff Kuhn, a sophomore, who was 6th at the North College Hill Invitational earlier this year, and he will be going up against Anderson Vinuenzi.
That's right. Anderson is also a sophomore, first-year wrestler. So
Anderson's 1-14, but in his last tournament, he had a lot of competitive matches and got his first win of the season.
That's right. Got his first win. I know he was excited about that. Okay, they're tied up here early.
Anderson's got to get around and face. Well, they're going to look like they're going to return to their feet.
Facing each other. Indian Hill scrambling, and looks like we have a takedown.
Kuhn gets around behind him, and
Anderson's back on his feet.
And
turns. There's an escape.
Anderson back on his feet. Let's see if Anderson can put something together here, Chuck.
Right, 2-1 now after the loss of control there. Again, wrestlers tied up. Back to the
Anderson
mat, facing each other.
What we see here when they're on their feet, they're trying setups. Oh, Anderson! He leans into it. He's got it. Trying to get a Peterson.
Takedown. There we go. Yep,
there we go.
There. And again, once he entered near fall position, it became a takedown.
Yep.
And the referee there counting, showing that looks like Anderson's
going to get some back points. Yep.
Again, got to be careful there.
There we go. There we go. Good job. Good job.
Again, referee awards the 2 points. Now 5-2. Anderson Van Nieuwenzy.
Looks like he was trying to set up a cradle there for a minute, Chuck.
Yeah, probably so, but just couldn't quite finish it. Kuhn slides off. Now they're back facing each other.
So each of them could be in a position for a front headlock.
That's right. And Kuhn looks like he's got it locked up, trying to capture the leg, maybe get a cradle of his own. But again, Anderson's not letting go of the head there.
And we're going to have a penalty point for clasping.
Yeah, we've got locking hands, and we're going to get a point for Van Nieuwense.
And Anderson looks like he could get another, well, nice period for Anderson there, Chuck.
That's right, good work on his feet there, and also nice work there on the Peterson, leading to some back points. He's up 5-3. It's going to be his choice, and he's going to choose neutral. So both wrestlers will be on their feet at the start, just like at the beginning of the match.
Anderson's been pretty aggressive at this point. Let's see if he can keep that up.
Yes, he really has. That's good to see out of a first-year wrestler.
Yep. Anderson was a late addition to the Astros squad, and he's been really proud of his accomplishments early on.
Yeah, he should be. Kuhn there with a single leg, got behind him, and popped his head out. Now that's a takedown for Kuhn.
Anderson trying to peel the hand off the head, which is commonly called a half.
That's right, and he's gonna. He's got to get back to his base here.
Yeah, he
build up here.
Kuhn's got the leg in, and that's even tough for experienced wrestlers to get out of.
Yes, it is. That's right.
Anderson trying to stand up.
Crawling forward a little bit, trying to get his leg free.
And Anderson rolls into it. Oh.
Almost a reversal there.
Get his hips over. No.
Yeah, if he gets his hips higher, he can pressure back in.
Exactly.
Kuhn doing a decent job maintaining control here. He's got to get his own hips off the mat.
Exactly right. Pretty even match at this point, 5-5 with 55 seconds to go in the second period.
Yeah, we've had a lot of action out of both wrestlers. Again, Anderson fighting to stand up. Oh, Kuhn rolls him through. He's got the leg trapped.
And he's running a tilt where he could have to be, he's in danger of a defensive pin right there.
Anderson pressure back, and okay, Kuhn gets 2 back points.
And we're at 7-5 with 30 seconds to go in the second period.
And check that. He gave the back points to Van Nieuwense there. I think that might be a scoring mistake there.
Well, we'll take them as long as they're there.
That's right. Again, Kuhn locked up again, still looking for some kind of a tilt.
Yeah, Anderson's going to have to find that energy that he had, and there we go with a tilt again. And
had his back exposed, but not long enough for any back points.
Yep. He's got to get some.
Take that back. He had a 2 count there.
Yep.
So 2 more back points there, and apparently we've got a scoring mistake here. It should be 9-5
for Kuhn, right?
They've got it 9-5 Van Nieuwense.
Kuhn picks top, starting the third period.
That's right. So Anderson will start in the down position. Again, for those not familiar with wrestling, the down position, you're on all fours. And Kuhn starts with his hand on the waist, one on the elbow.
And Anderson just having a terrible time getting his hands free.
Yeah, that's one thing. When you're on top and you got hand control, it can be really tough on the bottom wrestler. And again, he's got the half in, not very deep, but again.
Looks like a 2 count though, and that is going to be 2 more points for Kuhn. So he switches up the move, and he can go for more points here, which is
kind of a cross-body half here.
Yeah. Anderson got to get his belly down.
Yeah, he's in trouble now. He's got to get his belly back to the mat. Fight hard there. There we go. Now he's got to build his base and work to his feet. Got to get an escape here. Yeah, 2 more backs. 3, I take that. It's now 14-5.
And Anderson's in danger of being turned again.
Yes, he is. Again, like we said, he's just, when you're flat, you're not in a very good position.
No. Now he is to his base. If he can get some wrist control, he could score, and he really is in dire need of having the score right now. Tried to roll through.
You saw that his head went down and his back went over. That's really tough. When you're in the bottom position, you've got to fight to keep that head off the mat.
And time's running out on Anderson. We have 45 seconds to go in the third period, which in wrestling is the last period of the match, unless they go to overtime.
And Kuhn kind of riding the hips right now, not being overly aggressive. But
they definitely could be a stalling there if you have 15 seconds of inactivity.
And he's got a stack now. Anderson had his head tucked, rolled through, and it looks like Kuhn's going to get some more backs. No, we're creeping in here, Bill, on a technical fall.
Yeah, we are,
Chuck.
Chuck.
We'll get there, but it's close. Definitely a major decision by Kuhn at this point.
Right.
again,
Anderson,
the
there you
spikes to his
yeah, come on, Anderson. He's got to lower his
He can
hips a little
break
bit,
the
Chuck.
hands here and turn. That's right. His hips are too tall. He turns, faces him, got the escape.
Point for Anderson. We're at 17-6.
Okay, so that is going to be a major decision by Kuhn. But again, Anderson, first-year wrestler, showed a lot of heart there, a lot of fight. You know, a lot of times in that match, he could have given up on his back, didn't do it. So,
Right. And
I think a bright future for that young man.
Yeah, and Anderson, he's really come a long way. He initially, when he first started, couldn't get through the first period of the match, and now he's to the point where he's taking them all the way, and he's getting better every time out.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. And that's one thing about wrestling that I think a lot of people don't realize, too, is the aerobic level that it really takes. You know, think about constant motion for 6 minutes. That's pretty tough for anybody. And these young men, you know, like you said, really have to build that conditioning base.
Right.
And as the season goes on, you're going to see guys be able to go longer.
I agree.
Like what happened with Anderson.
Now, according to the roster here, Chuck, we should have Will Sweeney, a junior, would get a forfeit because Thomas Wright for the Astros has not returned to the lineup. Yeah, okay, it is Will Sweeney.
Yep, and again, Sweeney's going to get a forfeit like Jones did the first match, so...
It's 10 to 6 at this point.
10 to 6, right, with the, again...
Okay.
Kuhn got a major decision the last match. That was worth 4 match points. And so, again, we're at 10-6.
Tarek Whittam, a freshman, receives a forfeit at 126.
Okay, so another 6 points.
And so now we're at 16-6, and we've got a match now, Chuck.
Yeah, we do. We got Gage Morgan at 132 for East Clinton, and it looks like that's that's Reed Venner, a sophomore from Indian Hill.
And I'm looking here to see where Gage is. Gage is 0-7 on the year. He is a sophomore.
Yeah, Gage was a first-year wrestler last year. Really didn't have any experience at all in wrestling. I'm not sure he knew much about it when he came out.
Oh,
but
nice start. Got on the head hard.
Yeah,
Good setup. Gets
hard.
Around. Got to get off his hip there, Chuck.
Yeah, you can't stay on your hip. You're
but
on your hip.
It looks like 2 points.
Yep, there you go. You see both wrestlers moving. Morgan just got behind him.
Yep.
And again, when that bottom wrestler has the 4 points on the mat and you're behind, that is control.
He's come out with a vengeance here.
Yes, he has. A lot of motion on top. A lot of motion out of both
Got a
guys.
half, Chuck. If he can get around with it.
Yeah,
he's got to get him flat,
it's
though.
It's really hard to run that from his feet.
Yep, I agree.
But again, yeah, if he gets him flat, that half could be there.
And one of the keys in wrestling is to get the man off his base and get him flat on the mat.
That's right. You know, you can imagine it's pretty hard to get someone to show their back from their knees. But again, if you can get them flat, it's a lot easier to just, in a sense, roll them over.
Exactly. He could use a little head pressure here. It would help him get around on that.
Yep, and again, Venner is holding on to that leg, not letting it go. And
hey, we got a head in the ribs, cradle. Oh, he's turning him. He's turning him.
Over. And again, you can see the referee counting
Chuck,
back
we got
points.
some back points, and we may be looking at our first pin.
We could. I think he is. I think he's
I think he's
right
pinned.
now.
Yeah, all right.
Gage Morgan, first win of the year.
Gage Morgan.
Wow.
Nice
Love
job.
To see that. Minute 15 seconds. He worked hard there. He got the takedown. You know, a lot of motion out of both guys there. Pretty exciting match. He gets a minute and 15 seconds.
Yeah, it was. There was a lot of excitement, and that's the thing about wrestling. Once you get to understand it, Chuck, it's a pretty intense sport.
Yes, it certainly is. I think I would argue that it is the most intense sport,
and
at least at the high school level.
And we had some good news here recently. We see that the wrestling's been reinstated to the Olympics.
Yes, that's right. You know, there was a move on the part of the International Olympic Committee to eliminate some sports, and unfortunately, wrestling was one that was on the block. But I think we saw the worldwide appeal of wrestling when that decision was overturned.
Exactly. We're at 145 with Linzel Cure, a junior. He was 6th at North College Hills tournament this year. And Cameron Block for the Astros.
Right. Cameron is in on the leg, and he's got to get up. See if he can turn. There we go.
There we go. Nice.
Block with a takedown.
He's looking for a cradle.
He is. He's got it locked up there. Now, again, a different cradle than we saw out of Morgan. He's working it.
Oh, he's got him turned, Chuck.
He's got him. Let's see. Not sure his hands are locked very strongly, but.
All right.
He's got a fall.
And we got a pin at 29 seconds of the first period for Cameron Block.
Wow, back-to-back pins for the Astros. That's great to see.
And Cameron goes to 8-9 on the year now.
That's great. You know, Cameron is a kid that's come up through the junior high program here at East Clinton. A hard-working kid. and nice to see him turning things around here. So
Okay, for Indian Hills, we have George Snyder, a senior, finished second at the North College Hill tournament, and he's matching up with our own Charles Erdman at 152.
right, and Charles is another kid. He's a second-year wrestler in our program. Started last year as a freshman, and wrestled a little bit in junior high. I don't think he ever finished the season all the way. Had some problems, injuries, and so forth. But again, his freshman year was really his first year. Took a lot of bumps.
Chuck's 4-12 on the year. He placed in the early tournament at Williamsburg this year, and
yes, he did. Schneider's in on him deep already.
he's got head in the ribs there. He's trying
no
to get
takedown
around.
awarded yet. You can see he hasn't cleared to the hips yet.
He's got
Charles
that head
lets go of
there.
the leg, and there's the takedown. So,
Snyder did a nice job slipping the head out on that.
yes, he did. He just kept working it. He's got to watch, again, close to locking hands there.
Charles.
Flips out, and hips over there. Can't stay on your backside there too long.
Snyder tried to get a suck back. He's got a half and a wrist. Now
Charles
Chuck
keeps rolling. He
Chuck,
rolls it through.
there he goes.
And-
Well, get your point, Chuck.
May at least get an escape out of this. Doesn't look like he's going to, though. Schneider, nice job recovering there to get back. But again, Charles did roll him through. And starting to pressure back here to a sit-out.
Yep, he's doing nice.
Tips through.
Some good efforts by Charles here. He nearly escaped. Also, almost reversed him at a point there.
Yes, he did. That's right. And that's part of your job on the bottom is, obviously you want to get away and score your escape.
Exactly.
But, you want to make it as difficult as you can for that guy to pin you. And Charles is working hard on the bottom.
And he's,
a lot
he's
of motion there.
staying off his belly, which is always a bad thing when you're a wrestler, because then you can get turned. And
Exactly.
Charles he's got to get some wrist control to get out of this.
Yes, he does. And again, he's in a base. That's a good start. But again, he's got to get that arm free and get some pressure back into the man.
Yep, and if he's got to work to his, there he goes, up to his knees, but
again, his head was on the mat. You can see in that position, it's easy to get turned.
And he got him turned.
Schneider
And
looks like he's got an arm caught there.
he's got short time in the match. He's got 18 seconds. If he can get to the second period, he'll get some renewed life here.
That's right. Of course, we say short time, but when you're on your back, that's an eternity.
Very,
You've ever
very,
been in that position, you know what I'm talking about.
You see those lights, it's not a good sign.
That's right.
3, 2,
And
1.
looks like he is going to get out of the period, but Schneider racks up the 3 back points there. So
Exactly.
5-0 Schneider going into the second period.
And
it's going to be Schneider's choice. Looks to his coach.
And he's going to take the top, I think. Yep.
And he is. That's
Kind of unusual,
I
I
would
think.
consider that to be the more unconventional choice. I think to a lot of outsiders, they think, well, if I'm on top, it ought to be easier to break that guy down. But remember, when you're on the bottom, you've got the opportunity to score an escape or a reversal. Or on top, if you don't pin him, you've really, you've given up the advantage. So,
he got stacked.
Unfortunately, though, he caught Charles with his head down.
And he fortunately rolled through it very quickly.
Yes, he did.
Or-
Didn't lead to any back points.
Looked like he was going to give up 2 more. Chuck's got to get up to his base.
He really does. This is a bad position to be in. And again, he's rolled through again.
And this is definitely going to be back points at the very least.
Without a doubt, yep.
He's got
Really, if Schneider would flex a little bit and put his head up, he may force Charles down to the mat.
Exactly. He's got to do a little arch, drive the hips
Yes, he
down
does.
into
That's
him.
right. Get a little pressure, and he's able to pin him regardless.
So at 2:46 of the second period, we've got George Snyder with a pin.
That's right.
And we go to 160 pounds, which is going to be a double forfeit. The Astros, Zach Rayback, who's 18-1 and hopeful to go to state this year, had an injury situation just in practice yesterday.
That's what I heard. Hopefully he'll be back in the lineup very quickly. He's
And-
been a real shot in the arm for the program this year, I know.
And we're going to jump to 170 pounds, where we have Nick Price, a senior for Indian Hill, and our own Morgan Toll. Morgan is 7-7 on the season.
Again, Morgan's a second-year wrestler. Wrestled last year. Didn't have a lot of success early in the season, and then ended up placing at the sectional tournament to finish the year. So I know he's excited. Was excited coming into this year.
And he placed at the North College Hill tournament. He took 3rd there earlier this year. And probably going to see a lot of kids you saw earlier in the year today.
Oh, I'm sure he will to this point on.
Try a little bit of a Granby roll type of situation to get out of that, but didn't control the wrist on the Granby.
That's right, yeah. If you don't capture that wrist, you're probably not going to make it through, and that's exactly what happened.
Low hips. Again,
and
he's
turned to the mat, but again, he keeps working.
Nice to say. Now, Price has got his leg, and we never want. Now, what he's doing is he's reaching back, and whenever you reach back, you're going to get in trouble, Chuck.
Yeah, that's like the old Woody Hayes. When you throw the ball, only three things happen to him are bad. When you reach back, it's kind of the same thing.
Yep, I agree.
You have a chance to put that guy on his back, but more than likely, you're going to end up putting yourself on your back. And I would classify that to be a rookie mistake. And again, Morgan just being a second-year wrestler.
Strong kid though, and he's powering through. He might have Price in a little trouble here.
He might. That's right. Rolls through. Good job avoiding the back points there. Again, got to fight that head off the mat.
And one of the dangers of throwing legs in is stalling, and Price has those legs in and not doing anything.
Yeah, he is off to one hip now, but the legs are out.
We need to stand up there, Chuck. We need to stand up. We can score some points here.
That's right. Got to get one escape point here at least. Again, Morgan showing his strength.
There you go.
Up.
It's going to roll. Can he roll through? Yes, he does.
He did.
We've had a reversal here, Chuck.
2-point reversal there. Toll in control.
Morgan Toll takes him right to his back.
Got 10 seconds left in the period here. See if Morgan can't close this out.
All right.
There we go. Reversal to a pinfall.
Nice job. Morgan goes to 8-7 on the season now. And nice match from Morgan.
Finish. One thing I want to point out, Bill, here to people that may not be familiar with wrestling, if you're watching for the first time, notice every match begins and ends with a handshake.
Yes.
And again, that's something that I think is unique to wrestling in the sense that
combatants on the mat and friends off the mat.
That's right. A lot of sports end with a handshake. Wrestling begins and ends with a handshake.
Very good point, Chuck.
So here at 195, you've got Nate Morgan from East Clinton, and he's going up against Andrew Clark. What has Nate done this season, Coach? We've
got Nate's record at 2-9.
Oh, take that back, Coach. Nate got a forfeit there.
So he's 3-9 now, picking up that forfeit. And at 220, we've got Tony Artis, a freshman, going against Josh Roberts. Josh is 6-7. Josh is one of those unpredictable kind of guys. Sometimes he gets himself in trouble and turns it in. And you can.
I know what you mean. There we have a caution call. Again, the wrestlers had to start on the lines, and North College Hill just wasn't on the line. So a caution there to restart here.
Artis is a young wrestler. You can't expect those
that's right. That
mistakes.
That would be a freshman mistake, I guess.
A duck under by Roberts.
Yeah, nice job getting under, changing his level there. And again,
Roberts got a half. He's got the
half.
chest. Now, if he had arch here, Chuck, he could have this.
Yeah, there we go. Quick fall by Roberts.
19-second pin.
And again, like we talked about, wrestling a freshman wrestler, and any time you see freshmen in the upper weight classes, they're going to be at a disadvantage.
Yeah, because you're seeing probably some pretty big-time football players a lot of times.
Yeah, that's right. Big, strong kids. The only freshman that I remember that wasn't at a disadvantage was a guy by the name of Luke Fickle at Columbus DeSales.
Yeah, we've heard of Luke Fickle before, haven't we?
Yeah, probably so. Luke was a great wrestler at high school. Could have been a great wrestler at Ohio State.
Sammy Zames, a junior for Indian Hills, and Peyton Vest. Peyton is 0-11, but he's looking to turn that around tonight, Chuck.
That's right. Unfortunately, he got a quick takedown, and he rolls him through to his back. Peyton's fighting hard here, trying to bridge, but
he's got to fight through that. Got to fight through that.
And he gets back to his belly. So
there we go.
There out of Peyton. Go ahead, Bill.
Zames got a quick 5, but Peyton's got himself out of trouble for the time being.
That's right. But again, he's got to build to that base and start working to a stand-up or reversal here. Heavyweight is one class where you could potentially see some big mismatches in weight. Again, anyone that's heavier than 220 all the way up to 285 is in this weight class. These guys look like they're pretty evenly matched weight-wise, but it does present for some interesting matches at times.
Yeah.
Okay,
he almost got turned, but he's
had him on his back.
He's managed to keep him out.
And again, one thing I do like about what Zames is doing is he's keeping the pressure on him.
Right.
Of course, I say that now he's on his knees, but most of this match he has kept his weight on Peyton and made him carry it.
Talk about being on the knees a little bit. Now we see him straighten his legs.
Right. Well, and that makes a good point right there. As soon as he straightened his legs out, more weight, Peyton flattened out and he was pinned.
And you'll hear us say chest to chest, and what they want to do is get their chest on chest.
Exactly.
As you say, get the legs up in the air and have all the weight on their opponent.
Right, yeah, again, if you're chest to chest, think about all your weight is directed to that one point, and that's what they're after there. So.
And that ends the meet for us between the
first
Astros and Indian Hills. And we will have a final score for that in a second.
Jim, you got the match score.
East Clinton 36, Indian Hill 28.
Okay, we've just had it confirmed there. East Clinton 36, Indian Hill 28. So East Clinton starts out the day 1-0. That's a good way to start.
Yeah, and in our second duel, or this is our second duel meet, last Thursday against Clinton Massey, our arch rivals, we dropped a 34-33 decision.
Yeah, that's a heartbreaker, isn't it?
Yeah, and when you have your arch rivals, you always like to, no matter what sport it is, you want to get that win.
That's right. That's right.
So as we go through here, on the other mat, they are just finishing up the Williamsburg and who do we have over there?
Williamsburg and Lachlan.
So that's just finishing up.
Mat 1, East Clinton 36.
And I'm going to turn it over here to Rick for a few comments about GVTVR. And Rick, what did you think about our first telecast here with the wrestling?
Well, I think that, we're off to a good start. Obviously, this is something new to us.
Yep.
We've not done wrestling before, but it's something that we would, we want to bring sports that don't typically get covered when,
Right.
when we talk about the major sports.
The non-mainstream sports.
Exactly. We're still doing basketball. We do football. Obviously, we do these other sports. But the sports that, and those are the sports that we know a lot of times pay the bills.
Right.
But it's important that we recognize anyone from the cheerleaders, to the band members, to the kids that are playing maybe baseball or they're playing soccer. Those are the kinds of sports that obviously don't get that kind of coverage, don't get that recognition, unless they have an absolutely outstanding year. We want to
Right.
bring, average kids, and give them the kind of exposure that they deserve.
And then you guys, you want to talk about, you've just entered an agreement with East Clinton local schools here to bring people these sports, baseball, volleyball, not to mention football and basketball.
Right. The unique relationship that we're building with East Clinton is that East Clinton is helping us with certain resources like bandwidth that we need so that it's available to us locally here at the schools.
Right.
And so their IT department is working with us in our IT department so that we have the available bandwidth for these types of events, both inside the building and they're talking about even outside the building. And obviously, until we actually got well, Bill, because you were with us during the Massey playoffs.
Right.
When you get to the big stadiums like Welcome Stadium, they obviously have a lot of infrastructure already built in. Well, East Clinton has it. It's just that normally we don't have access to it.
Right.
But because of this relationship that we're building, it's going to give us the opportunity to use the infrastructure to be able to present, to bring the audio and the video.
Right.
Because audio is not a problem at most places with our wireless devices, but video takes a lot more bandwidth.
Right.
And so with this relationship, and it'll help, obviously we can bring community advertisers and supporters, and it's just going to give us a whole unique perspective and allow us to bring those other sports to the forefront as well.
What do you see as some possibilities from an educational standpoint for the kids, say at East Clinton or Wilmington or any type of schools that go with GTVR? What's some of the potential for those learning opportunities for some of those kids?
Well, I think that the most important opportunity is the fact that those kids that are in AV or they're in IT or they have interests in being able to understand and learn broadcast radio, broadcast TV. We certainly aren't a major network. We hope to be that sometime, but everything is going through the internet and everything will continue to gravitate to the internet. So we're on the cutting edge with new media, and that's what students need to learn so
Right.
they can compete in this 21st century and so they can get the jobs they need. This gives them hands-on experience. Everybody obviously needs the classroom experience, but what they really need is hands-on experience in editing, in producing, in front of the camera, behind the camera. That's what GTVR will give these students here at East Clinton and other schools that we'll start building these relationships with, so that we're not just bringing, actual sports and sporting events and other types of events, but we'll be able to work with their students to be able to educate them and to give them that hands-on experience that they wouldn't normally get.
If there's other schools out there that are, we have North College Hill here, we have Indian Hills, we have Laughlin, Roger Bacon, Williamsburg. How could a school go about getting in contact with you or Lee Hendee and talk to you guys about the potential what their schools can do?
Well, they can call Internet Nation, which is our parent company. The number is 888-202-6624. That's our main number that they can contact us with. Or they can actually even call my cell phone, 937-527-6674. And I'd be happy to talk with them. We can meet with them, their athletic department, their staff, so that we can, look at doing various programs for their schools as well. It's a symbiotic relationship. We'll be working with their community, we'll be working with their school system, in order to be able to not just bring sporting events. Right. Sports is a good start. Everyone's interested in sports, women, men, young, old, and so it's a good way to start, just like starting our network. But obviously, we have the ability to bring other types of programs on our network, and the most exciting development is in this next quarter, which would be March, April, May.
Right.
We're going to actually be integrating our network with a network called Roku, which it uses a small set-top box. It's in 3 million homes across the country. It will allow them to connect the Roku box to their digital television.
Their TV, right?
And, Grandma in California can watch in full HD video the programs that we'll be presenting on GTVR. And the great thing about this is, as I said, it's an interactive type of situation. We involve our chat rooms and we involve text messaging along with the actual broadcast, so that people can actually not only watch our broadcast, they can participate, they can comment, we can answer questions.
And we saw a little bit of that during football season, correct me if I'm wrong, with the text messages and people on the blog from Germany and Japan and Clinton Massey alumni that might be stationed in the military who can't obviously get here to see the football game or wrestling match. That's the advantage of an internet TV station / radio, that they can get on and follow their alma mater.
Absolutely, and like I said, Grandma, Grandpa can be watching from anywhere in the world, but certainly anywhere in the United States. So even if they're in Georgia or they're in Alaska or wherever, they can, if they've got internet access, then they have access to their grandkids. And the same thing. If parents live in different places across the country, they can still watch wrestling matches, and they can watch their son or their daughter in cheerleading or band or anything that we're presenting. We might even be doing speech contests, and because we just don't know. The sky's the limit as far as what we can present. The point is that unlike major networks, obviously they don't cover high school sports, don't cover local sports. We go locally into the communities. We work with schools like East Clinton that, they're thinking progressively as far as the things that they can do, that they can participate in, and they can be on the cutting edge. And for the size of the school here in Lees Creek, East Clinton School, I don't know what the total population of the school is.
Do you know, Chuck?
I want to say about, off the top of my head, I want to say about 1,200 students probably.
1,200?
K to 12.
Yeah, and so, and even when you look at schools like East Clinton, it's very unusual that they're this progressive in their thinking. My graduating class at Beaver Creek was 625 people.
Right.
So, when you get out into the rural areas like we have here in Clinton County, in a lot of cases, they don't think about these types of things.
And we got to give credit to a guy like Matt Baker, the principal here. Matt's a very forward-thinking kind of guy. Matt sees this as a great opportunity to expose what the East Clinton kids are doing.
Absolutely, because first of all, it's something to be proud of. These kids are obviously they're participating. They're doing things that some kids just sit on the sidelines. This gives them an opportunity for that exposure, that recognition, and one of the things about internet, television, radio is that we can do any types of broadcasts.
Exactly.
And as long as we've got the willing participants, here at East Clinton or in other schools, we'll be happy to bring that to the viewing public.
Well, thanks, Rick. We appreciate that. Looks like we're going to get ready to start our next round. Chuck, who do we got this round?
Well, actually, looks like this is the last match of round one. This is Roger Bacon and North College Hill here, finishing up round one.
And we're ascertaining at this point what weight class we are starting at. Looks like maybe 138. We've got, I don't want to say that yet, guys, before we're sure. But we've got Roger Bacon's line up here, and they've only got 4 kids here, Chuck. They've got Brian Stentz, a 138,
Right.
with a record of 7-11. He's a 10th grader. Liam Garrett at 145. He's 0-1. He's a 10th grader. Josh Engel, 182, 10-8. 12th grader. He was 3rd at sectionals last year in the district qualifier. And then their 195 is Scott Enneking, and he's 8-6. 12th grader. 3rd at the Northwood Invitational. 4th in sectionals, district qualifier. And and they have a little note here that his
coach said Scott asked if he could be referred to as Scotty Too Hottie. So, Scott, there you go. You got it on the air, but that's probably the last time you're going to hear it. But again, North College Hill and Roger Bacon here. We've got a 2-2 score right now in the match.
And I just don't have North College Hill, so we're just going to go with Brian Stentz as our man here.
And then the roster, they've got 2 guys listed. This could be either Kieran Friend or Gerald Thomas. So sorry to one of those young men that we don't know who you are. But again, same situation there. Peterson like before in the Van de Windsey match, but.
You want to talk about that half, why, or when he got the headlock there, why that was illegal, Chuck?
Yeah, again, if you're going to encircle the head, you have to have an arm in there, and he pulled him over only by his head. So,
right.
This isn't WWE wrestling where that would be a legal move. So, you have to have the arm there to bring him over.
That's a great point. It's a lot different than what you guys watch on Saturday mornings or Monday Night Raw. So.
And Bacon went to his feet quick. Nice stand-up by Stentz, but went right back down. And again, North College Hill returns him to the mat, but he locked his hands there.
And that's going to be another penalty point.
Yes, it is. That's another penalty point there. Again, those not familiar with wrestling, you cannot have your hands locked while you have the opponent on the mat and you're in control.
So that would mean
in a pinning combination like a cradle.
Right. Interlacing your fingers would be illegal. Now, you can grab your wrist, but you cannot put your hands in a position where they're cupped together or laced together with the finger.
In fact, really, I've seen it called where they really shouldn't even touch.
Right.
But again, you get reaction time. He gets a second after he picked them up, returned them to the mat, held the hands together longer than that, so that's why the penalty point. Again, returns him to the mat, but he's in trouble. Bacon there looks like.
Yeah.
Quick reversal call. They're back on their feet.
Yes.
And we're going to have a reversal by North College.
Stentz is in trouble again, and he was at 5-5. We're early in the second period at 1:44 of the period, and Stentz.
North College Hill coming out to try to tee it up there.
Well, yeah, he is. He's walking to the head, and that's always bad if he gets to the head. And
bad for North College Hill, or bad for Roger.
Yeah, Roger, and that's a pin for North College Hill at 2:30 of the second period. And Brian Stentz record drops to 7-12 on the year. Looks like we go to 145. Liam Garrett, 0-1, 10th grader for Roger Bacon.
And he'll be wrestling Damon Bridges for North College Hill. I don't know Damon's record on the year, but I do recognize him. He's a pretty decent wrestler. I know he's a returning wrestler for the Trojans.
He's got good build. That's one thing you see in wrestling is these guys they look all like workhorses. Got well-defined arms, legs.
Yeah, and the weight requirements, a lot of times, I shouldn't say requirements, but the weight classes do get a lot of guys to lose a lot of body fat.
Yep, that's for sure.
Bridges is a good example of that. Not a lot of body fat left on that young man.
They're locking up, getting some setups here, trying some snap downs.
Feeling each other out
right.
here. Again, Bridges real aggressive, changing his level there. He starts up high. Bridges with a shot.
Oh, nice. Picks him up, returns him to the mat.
Jumps the half right away.
Oh, he's got him in trouble right here.
This is trouble for Garrett.
Yep.
And there's a quick fall there.
And 25 seconds of the first period. And Bridges looked pretty impressive there,
Very
Chuck.
workmanlike effort. Went right after him.
Yep.
Put him on his back and stuck him.
One thing about wrestling, we talked about penalty points. The procedure is a warning if they have a violation.
Yeah, warning the first time, and then they go into awarding points. Generally 1 point. Well, it depends on the penalty, but yeah, generally 1 point right away, and then 2.
And then disqualification.
Lead to disqualification. Exactly.
Right. Yep. Yeah. And actually, we had a really controversial match earlier this year with when we were over at I want to say North College Hills tournament with our 182 Cameron Klein, who was working on his 4th penalty point and for stalling. And again, we talked a little bit about what stalling was. If there's no action, you can be warned and then penalized for that. Unlike basketball, where they might stall, you can't do that in wrestling.
That's right. Not sure what we have here. Is this 182?
182. Josh Engel, 10-8 for Roger Bacon. He was 3rd at sectionals and a district qualifier, so he's a quality opponent here.
Okay. Anthony Curry here from North College Hill, and again,
Engel's in a little trouble.
Yes, he is. That was a nice takedown there by Curry.
Well, 2 points for Curry.
And again, Curry very aggressive here. Gets out to the side where he can break him down.
Okay, Engel escapes.
And we're back on our feet, 2-1.
A little setup. A touch and go.
And there's a tie up.
Curry seems to be the more aggressive one at this point.
He certainly has been. There's another inside.
Wow, trip.
To another takedown. So 4-1 right now.
Engel's going to have to pick his game up.
Yes, he will. That's for sure.
Oh, a half. He's walking to the head with it.
He's walking. He's got good position, but
he's a little bit high, but
yep.
He's getting points here, Chuck.
He's a little too far forward, though. It's going to allow Engel to roll him through.
Wow.
So back points being counted here. Looks like he's going to get 3.
Yeah, he's got the head scooped. He's trying to tighten up the far arm.
Again, looking for that chest pressure we talked about
right,
before.
I see.
And unfortunately, as you can see, he's kind of off.
He's on his knees, and as we talked about, that's not a good combination. But 3 points nonetheless, and it's 7-1. And Curry's, these guys probably aren't any strangers to each other, being from Cincinnati.
No, I imagine they probably see each other quite a bit. And again,
Curry took the half over.
Another half here.
He's using his chest to push him over. He's off his knees. Well, now he goes down to his. When he's off his knees, he's pretty effective, Chuck.
Yes, he is. Again, like we talked about, that's all about pressure. When you go to your knees, you're
chest to chest.
I'll tell you, he may have been saved by the whistle. Very close to the
I agree with you. Saved by the bell.
Time ran out.
I think it's going to be 10-1 here in a second, as soon as they get those 3 points on. So, no, I think they put it on the wrong person, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe you're right. I think it should be 10-1.
Yeah, 10-1 for Curry, and he could be looking at a tech fall here.
He could. Yeah, there we go. We get a change. It should be
10-1, I think.
10-1, yeah, 10-1.
Or 9-1 at the worst.
Right.
Curry.
Slide by there to a trip, and again, another takedown. So, on their feet, Curry has really dominated the action.
12-1. Now, those not familiar with wrestling, if you can get a 15-point advantage, they stop the match for what they call a tech fall.
That's right, and again, that is
that's getting real close.
Total domination there.
Yeah. Curry, if he would just.
And again, here it's 12-1. If he does not pin him here, it'll be 15-1. So.
Oh, I think it's close here.
Yeah.
I think a lot of this is Curry is just. He's just been muscling them, and
he really has. I haven't seen a lot of work out of Engel on the bottom.
No.
He started out, with a flurry, but again, it's kind of worn out. So we've got 15-1 there.
They're out of bounds. They're going to start it again in the middle.
That's right. And again, Engel will be down.
Now talk about kicking him out here. We've got a 15-1 situation. Curry could do what?
Well, what we call kick a guy in wrestling, or basically let him go, give him the escape. And he would get 1 point, but then again, you could take him down for 2 more.
And possibly get...
Exactly, to go for the tech fall.
Right.
And in a situation where, Curry seems to be taking him down at will.
Right.
That probably wouldn't be a bad decision to do here, but...
But he's going to take him... Engel can't...
on top.
Engel can't allow himself to get turned again, because it's going to be... Well, I think it's...
It's either going to be a fall or a tech fall here now.
Right.
If he gets turned.
He has 2 on his 2 on his thigh, meaning the official. And I think this
one's over. It's just a matter now of whether it's going to be a tech or a pin.
Engle's got 24 seconds to hold on. It's just a pride thing here now, Chuck.
That's all it is. And like we talked about before, that's an eternity.
Engle comes off the mat.
Unfortunately, like we said, the 15-point margin had already been reached. So
that's right. So it's too late.
That still goes down as a tech fall. Nice flurry there at the end by Engle, but again,
18-1.
One thing about a tech fall in the team scoring, that will go down as 5 points, where a pin will go down as 6. So it would have been to Curry's advantage there to pin him for one more team point, but again, it's still a very impressive win.
And we're going to move to Scott Enneking, a 195-pounder, 8-6 on the season, a 12th grader, 3rd at Norwood Invitational, 4th at sectionals, a district qualifier, and his nickname is Scotty Too Hottie.
All right, again, it's Scott, a returning district qualifier, so.
And we'll see if Scotty can fare a little bit better than his teammate Josh Engel.
That's right. And again, he is wrestling Cameron Avery from North College Hill.
Look like pretty equally matched kids. Enneking a little bit taller, but build-wise, I'd say they're pretty equal there.
Yeah, Avery a little more stout. And that's one thing about wrestling. People tend to think because they're in weight classes, they're all going to look the same. But you end up with some pretty odd pair-ups.
Yes, you do. You get some tall kids with short kids, or
exactly.
Thin kids with big kids. I mean, it's kind of an interesting sport in that sense.
So here we've got action on our feet. They're circling, and again, King.
He's got a double leg if he can finish that.
Nice sprawl by Avery. They're fighting him off.
Enneking has got a hand on the leg. He's trying to pick that up,
back into a double.
He's got a single. Nice.
And Avery goes down. There's an easy takedown there.
Enneking with 2.
And we've got a stop in the action there. Looks like their headgear came off. Going to let them readjust.
And why do they wear headgear, Chuck? Our fans might want to know that.
That's a good question. If you've ever seen cauliflower ear, that's exactly why.
I like cauliflower, though.
I love cauliflower. I don't like cauliflower ear. That is, unfortunately, a situation where your cartilage in your ear tears and the scar tissue forms a rather large, rather unattractive bump on your ear.
Enneking follows Avery off the mat, and we've got no points there. We've got 1:16 to go in the first period. 2-0, Scott Enneking.
And again, Avery will be in the down position here, going to be looking for an escape or a reversal.
And
crawling forward, and
Avery's in position to score, and he does.
And there is an escape. So we're back to neutral, 2-1 Enneking.
Enneking had a nice leg attack in that first rally. He had a possibility for a high crotch, or what we call a fireman's, just didn't finish on it.
Right. And I like the fact, though, that he was able to switch off to a double and eventually finish that. Or take that back, then he switched back to a single and finish that.
Right.
So.
And that's the mark of a good wrestler, is having multiple things in your toolbox, so to speak.
Exactly. And again, kind of muscling each other here, still kind of feeling each other out.
And sometimes we see this with bigger guys when they start to get tired. They'll hang on each other's neck and wait for the other guy to make a mistake rather than be offensive.
That's true. And again, not only when they're tired, but that's one of the differences you'll see in wrestling in the higher weights as opposed to the lower weights, where in the lower weights, you're going to see a lot of action, and then the heavier weights, they're looking for more of an opportunity to get leverage on their opponent. And there you go. The referee hit someone was stalling there.
I think he got Enneking, maybe.
He hit Enneking?
Yep.
And again, basically the referee is trying to tell them that he wants to see more action.
Not
circling, but action, trying to take his opponent down.
And a lot of key with that is whether you have your elbows inside or outside.
Right.
If you've got your elbows inside in an offensive position and you're not doing anything, you're going to get busted on that.
That's exactly right. Again, the referee is looking for someone to dictate the action.
Right.
And if you're not going to do it, then you are going to get hit for assault.
Go to the room and get your dad.
And he's got a tight waist there.
Very tight waist by Avery. Enneking up to his feet.
Returns dangerous there. And Enneking's in a scoring position,
yes, he
Chuck.
Is, but,
and he does.
He reverses it. Avery's thrown to his back.
He's got a half in. Now, can he finish the half? Because if he can, this match can be over pretty quick.
Yeah, let's see. doesn't really have it in.
No, not real deep.
He's under
He's
the
just,
arm, but not really a half.
well, it's kind of, I don't know. It just looked like he's trying to scoop the head, but now he's got a reverse half in now, Chuck.
That's right, and let's see if he can't tee it up here. Again, King a little far forward, a little further forward than you'd want it to be.
I agree.
Not chest to chest.
And we've got a pin at 2:14 of the second period. And
there we go. Scotty
Too Hotty goes to 9-6 on the year. You know, while we got a moment here between the matches, I'd like to talk about, and on the other mat, we've got some JV matches. That's the great thing about wrestling is if you've got extra kids, they let them get on the mat and wrestle so nobody gets discouraged and is not participating.
Yeah, that's a very good point. You know, again, wrestling, you know, you never know when you're going to show up, whether there's going to be a guy in your weight class or maybe he doesn't make weight or, you know, so it takes a lot of different guys at a lot of different weights. And, again, a lot of coaches try really hard to get those guys matches.
And I don't have anybody here for Roger Bacon on this one.
Nor do I. I think this is Jameer Bankhead from North College Hill, if that's correct. But
and maybe
Roger
this is
Bacon,
Scotty Anaking. I mean, we could have.
Quite possibly, yeah, quite possibly.
We could have been wrong. And if we did announce that last one wrong, we apologize to Scotty Too Hotty. And
we certainly do.
This could be him right here.
That's right. Roger Bacon with a quick takedown. Again, there was a situation where he did kick him, gave him an escape. Bankhead tries a fireman's carry there, can't finish it.
Nice crossface by Roger Bacon.
Very aggressive move there. Looked like he was going for a cradle. He was going to kick him or let him go again.
Right.
Give him the escape. 4-2, Roger Bacon.
Nice.
Outside single there.
And now what he's trying to do here is looks like he's just going to let him up, take him down, and that's a common practice with guys who have good takedowns.
Yes, it is. That's right. Especially, you know, like you said, if you've got a guy that is a really good takedown artist, so to speak, and the other wrestler can't really defend it very well, then you could have a.
Gets into a single, picks up that leg.
Nice takedown again.
Wow, takes him to his back.
And
he's got at least two.
See if he's able to finish it from here. Again, not really trying to pin him.
No.
I think here.
And sometimes guys that pin people a lot during the season, they will do this so they get some mat times.
Well, that's exactly right. You know, if you're a very dominant wrestler and you can go out there and pin everyone, you're not going to get a lot of mat time that you need for when you have a tougher opponent later in the year. So.
Oh, nice double. Got that in deep, and he just went right to his back, Chuck.
Yeah, unfortunately.
That's good night there, buddy.
That's all she wrote. So.
At 1:40 first period, Roger Bacon.
And again, I think a situation where opponent was just a little too tough for him.
I'm going to venture to say that might have been 220, and this looks like the heavyweight here for.
Yeah, it looks like it is. We got a forfeit.
Oh, no, I could be wrong about that too.
That must have been 220 because I recognize this young man. That's Michael Harris, the heavyweight from North College Hill.
And we apologize to listeners. We do not have complete. We have rosters for some of the teams, and we also have some records and information on what they did. But we're going to do the best we can.
Right.
If someone wants to help us out, if you're watching and you want to text or blog a name, you know somebody's on there and we're calling them the wrong name, please let us know and we'll correct it immediately.
That's right.
Chuck, let's talk a little bit about wrestling as being a different kind of sport in the sense that we have weight classes.
Right.
And equalizes competition. We have kids of equal weight going against each other.
Yeah.
As a coach, talk about making weight and some of the difficulties with that.
Well, you know, I'm glad you brought that up, Bill. I think that's one thing that in the past, you know, people that are outside of wrestling or not experienced in wrestling, you know, that's where wrestling really gets a bad name in a lot of circles. People think that, you know, they hear the horror stories of kids, you know, doing unsafe things or, you know, really crazy ways to try to lose weight. And, you know, I'll be honest, back when I wrestled in school, you know, there were guys doing some pretty extreme things to lose weight.
Oh, yeah. Sweatsuits and...
oh, exactly.
And
hot boxes and everything.
You know, diuretics and anything else that they had to go.
But one thing about, I will say that wrestling in the past 10 years has really done a great job of trying to make it a lot more safe for the athletes. The state of Ohio tests every wrestler at the beginning of the season.
And that's referred to as alpha test, correct?
That's right, yep. Alpha for the beginning. They do a hydration test where they test how much water the wrestler has in their system. They test how much body fat they have. And then using that they put that in a formula, and they can determine what is a safe weight for that wrestler to be at throughout the year. And again, that weight, is set at the beginning of the year, but it's graduated throughout the year. So, if you have a high body fat percentage at the beginning of the season, by the end of the season, you could be wrestling at a much lower weight.
But it's incremented so that they're not losing 30 pounds in a week.
Exactly, yeah. It's all designed for safety. And, again, I think that's been a great advancement in wrestling and something that I think is going to help make it, continue into the future.
I think one thing that we see, too, another change was when I was in high school, you could see kids jump up 2 weight classes. So, in essence, you could take a 167 at that time,
right,
and jump up and wrestle a 185.
Right.
And they've stopped that, so to speak, where you can only bump up 1 weight class at this point.
1 weight class above what you weighed in, right.
Right.
And so, I think, again, like you said, that's been good just from a matchup standpoint.
Now, what do you think? Let me ask you your opinion. We look at the heavyweight class. When I was in high school, it was called Unlimited.
Right.
My brother wrestled heavyweight. He weighed 311 pounds. And at that time, that was considered big, fat kids. Right. But nowadays, we look at the NFL, and we went from 17 300-pound players in the 1970s to over 200 guys in NFL that are over 300, right, and they're pretty athletic guys.
Yeah, that's very true. And in fact, there's been a lot of movement in the heavyweight weight class as far as that goes. Like you said, back in the day, it was unlimited. When I was in school, it was 275. Then they've raised that recently to 285. But you're right. There are, granted, there's a finite number of them, but there are individuals out there that are very athletic at
right,
over 285 pounds.
And could be wrestling and doing something what would keep them in shape.
Exactly.
When they're worried about their weight,
right,
wrestling's a great way to control that weight.
Oh, without a doubt, without a doubt. And I think getting back to your point before about the weight, that's one thing that's unique to wrestling from a lot of other high school and youth sports, and the fact that the weight requirement puts a little more discipline in it. And the fact that, again, a football player or a basketball player go to practice and work hard and run and, shower up and then go home and then they can eat whatever they want.
Right.
Wrestling has that added discipline of, you have to go home, and if you're not on weight, you need to be very careful with what you're eating.
And it kind of drives, I think that, some people would say that drives them away. I don't know that the weight loss does that, Chuck, but do you think it's more the aspect of being disciplined enough to control your weight for 3 months?
I agree 100%. Right. Not so much the dieting, but just the discipline that it takes. You're right. To be able to stay on that weight for what is a very extended period of time.
Right.
And again, it's difficult for some guys to do it.
And I've talked to athletes and, coaching football and many different sports and, being involved with wrestling all these years with my boys. I think the thing that I find amazing is when you talk to people about what the 2 toughest things to do are, is wrestle a 6-minute match or swim.
Right.
And when you think about it, people don't think about swimming
right,
as a real strenuous sport. But then again, wrestling, if they don't know what it's like to be out there for 6 minutes, they have no idea.
Right, the constant motion. And if anyone has ever been familiar or knows an elite level type swimmer, those guys are consuming thousands, those men and women are consuming thousands upon thousands of calories every day.
Right.
And, and again, maintaining their weight where it is, where again, like we said, wrestlers, well, obviously no one would suggest they don't eat, but, they're doing that same thing and not consuming the mass amount of calories that swimming does. But again, both those activities involve constant motion.
Right.
The muscles get very little rest.
No rest, exactly.
And again, wrestling, you may have certain breaks where, you have a break for a whistle out of bounds or a change between periods. But, again, you're not talking about a break where in a football game where you have a 10-second play and then you've got a 15-second huddle.
Or halftime.
Exactly. Yeah,
right.
Wrestling, no halftime, no break.
Basketball has halftime.
Right.
And, of course, baseball is a much slower-paced sport.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it's a unique sport. I take my hat off to the kids that wrestle. There's got to be a special place in their heart. We look at the crowd, kind of disappointing in a way. We don't have probably any more than moms and dads here to come out and support it, but kids keep on doing it every year.
Yeah, that's right. And, that is a great thing also about wrestling, I think, though, is that it has a very community-type feel.
Right.
A lot of families, like you said, with your boys. If you look, a lot of successful wrestlers have brothers that were also wrestlers.
Right.
Or that
family wrestling.
Exactly.
Right.
And they've got that that instant practice partner all the time. And,
Probably a lot of that comes from in the living room when they're smashing into the couches and putting holes in the wall, and mom's yelling at them about it.
To drive mom crazy.
Yeah, I take my hat off to these kids. It's a really tough sport, and at East Clinton being a young sport, I think Doug Stalen's done a great job in recruiting, and we nearly have a full team this year.
That's right, yeah, and that's been the great thing. You have to remember when East Clinton started wrestling, there was very little familiarity with wrestling in the East Clinton community, with the exception of people that maybe had grown up in Wilmington or Courthouse or other areas that had wrestling. If you were from this area specifically, you'd had very little knowledge of wrestling.
Right.
And so, that's been, I think, one challenge that Coach Stalen has faced is, you've got not only, kids that don't know anything about wrestling, but parents that, have almost no exposure at all to it.
Right. They've been baseball, basketball, and football up pretty much until ninth grade.
More
and then
traditional sports, yeah.
Right, exactly. One thing I think you see with the wrestling is that, back in the day when I was in school, dual meets were very popular.
Right.
And I remember at my high school, we were fortunate enough to win the state championship one year. We wrestled Menor High School, and my dad was the athletic director. Believe this or not, our gym held 1,500 people. He had to stop selling tickets and go to short circuit or closed circuit TV down in the cafeteria to get everybody in to watch the match.
Right.
And that's where dual meets used to be.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that would help the sport if we could get back more into a dual meet type of concept.
I do too, and it's interesting you bring that up. The state of Ohio has actually instituted a new state tournament for dual meets as well, where teams are wrestling head to head.
Right.
The traditional state tournament has always been a bracketed tournament of individuals.
Right.
And again, that's one of the great things about wrestling is that you may not have a full team, but if you have one great wrestler, that doesn't mean they can't win an individual state tournament.
Right.
But again, like you said, the popularity of the dual meets and
well, it's a 2-hour event.
Exactly.
And people aren't spending, hours like we will today. And of course, if you're a wrestling addict, it doesn't matter. You're going to sit in a gym 10 to 12 hours and
that's right.
And wait to see your kid wrestle 4 or 5 times. But for the most part, it takes a different kind of fan to come to a wrestling tournament.
That's exactly right. Like you mentioned, you may wait. If you come to watch your child, you may wait 3 or 4 hours to watch your child wrestle one match.
Right.
Then you may have to wait 2 or 3 more hours to get to watch them again.
Right.
And and that is frustrating. I think a lot of people in wrestling realize that, and that's why, again, like we mentioned, they're going to try to introduce more dual meet formats, and I think that's exciting. It's good for the sport. Like you said, it's great for rivalries. It's great for the fans.
Right.
And so hopefully that will continue.
Yeah, you brought up a good point there about when you were talking about the tournament, how the individual tournament and they do award a state team championship. And I'll throw an example at you. When Monroeville won a few years ago, they had 4-time state champs.
Yes, they did. Yeah.
They had a 5th kid that happened to qualify for state, and they won the team championship with 5 kids.
Wrestlers. That's exactly right. Yeah. Known as the Monroeville 5 in the wrestling circles.
Yes, and it was a great wrestling product. Now you go to the other extreme. You have St. Edwards and you have St. Paris Graham, who will go down there and probably have 8 kids in the finals.
Right, exactly, and may qualify their entire lineup.
Exactly.
For the tournament.
And sometimes not truly reflective of the best team in the state, because if you have 8 good kids, you can accumulate enough points to win it. Exactly. Where the dual meet championship is going to, like we see today, you're going to have your 106, your 113. They're going to go out individually, and as a team, putting it back more into a team concept.
That's exactly right. Top to bottom, you have to be competitive.
Right.
Not just like we said, as opposed to having 2 or 3 quote unquote studs on your lineup.
Right.
And yeah, that's a good point.
At this point, I'd like to bring in Lee Hendee and have Lee comment on some exciting things that are going on. With maybe some arena football possibilities, and believe it or not, women's football. And I'm going to bring
women's football.
Rick. We're going to bring your partner in crime down here.
My better half. Why don't you take the microphone here, Lee? All right.
And here is the veteran of the mic, Lee Hendee.
Absolutely.
By the way, Lee is an East Clinton graduate. Lee, what class did you graduate in here?
It was right after the turn of the century. 1969.
1969.
We know that's true because East Clinton hasn't been around that long.
Yeah, it originally started out as Wayne Township, then went to New Kenton, I think, and then as they progressed, New Vienna and Sabina had both come in and combined, and as Chuck can tell you, there's kind of a long history here between all of the New Vienna, Sabina, and Wayne Township schools, and it goes way back. Wrestling didn't really come into East Clinton, I think, Chuck, till when?
I want to say 5 years ago.
I was going to say, it's not been very long.
Now, Lee, I heard an interesting story. You guys probably know better than I. How did the East Clinton Astros become the Astros?
I don't know that story. So
I don't either.
Well, I'll tell you because I thought you guys being alumni.
I'm not alumni from here. So.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. But
all right.
What I heard was the school, as East Clinton came into existence in 1966.
Right.
And that was the year that the Houston Astros came into the league, into Major League Baseball. And they jumped on the name, and we became the East Clinton Astros. And, of course, the aerospace industry was pretty big.
Right, that was the space race era, those type of things. Yeah,
right, so. Where we were just a few years from going to the moon, and Neil Armstrong, representing America and the world, being the first man to step on another planet besides this good Earth.
Well, one of the things that I want to talk about is one of our sponsors for the East Clinton Sports Channel is Charlie's Place over in Sabina, Ohio, and I'm sure you guys have all ate there at one time or the other. And we're going to talk to Coach Jim Marsh here in just a minute, but we're also going to be having an East Clinton sports show over at Charlie's Place, I think on Wednesday evening, starting in a couple of weeks. So we want to look forward to that. We'll have basketball this next week. Jim, is it East Clinton and who? Miami?
Hillsboro, Tuesday night.
Okay.
East Clinton here, 7:30 tip-off for the varsity game, 4:45 for freshmen, and we're going to play a JV game somewhere in between those two.
All right. It's important that we want to tell everybody, come on out to the game. But if you can't be here, you can watch it on gtvr.net. But there's nothing like being at a live sporting event.
Nothing like live sporting event, but then again, we feel great honor and privilege by having our athletes on the net and being televised. And you know what? I think we're doing something that nobody else around has caught on yet. We're appreciative to you guys, and we expect a lot of good things.
Well, I'm glad I've got these two guys back here to talk about wrestling. They've got a lot of experience, a lot of background, and I'm just sitting back here looking through the camera lens and watching all the action. Great action here today.
Oh, yeah. It's great. Great wrestling day. A lot of aggressive wrestling on your feet. I like a lot of scoring.
Yes.
I've coached wrestling for 15 years myself.
That's great.
And so, it's an exciting sport.
Well, we're talking with the East Clinton Athletic Director, Jim Marsh, who has a lot of athletic background. You were at Wilmington College for a while.
I was at Wilmington College for a while, for about, I'd say about 18 years.
Mm-hmm.
Coached in multiple sports, administrative, academics, started to help start the sports management program over there and things like that.
This is your first year at East Clinton?
Second year.
Yeah.
Second year.
Okay. This school has such a rich history, as a lot of schools do, in athletics. And go back even to the Sabina, New Vienna days, which I'm sure you don't know all the history there. And I don't know all the history there. But
yeah, the trick is tying it all together, bringing them all together in one spot, and that's kind of one of the things we're doing with our youth programs. We've invited our youth programs into our facilities, wrestling, basketball, everything. We think that helps tie the community together to get them out here.
Right.
And so we're excited about being able to do that.
Well, being a rural school, we'll say, kind of has everybody kind of spread out, not like an inner city program where everybody's fairly close. This community, this school district is kind of spread out, so it's hard to get everybody collected at any event.
Right. And we're excited to do that. We look at the horizon, and we're looking at a lot. Just for instance, this wrestling program. This wrestling program is going places. As you look in all of our athletics, everything is growing.
Yes.
And we're moving forward. And we're not where we want to be in some places, but we can at least see that we're getting there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, it's great. I know I've been on this floor out here. You've got a great gymnasium floor out here. And, it's easy on the legs. The athletes probably enjoy that too.
Yeah. We have very good facilities. We upkeep them well. We take our athletics very seriously out here.
Yeah, and academics as well. Very highly rated academics.
Yes, we have. I think in the fall we had 65% of our athletes were 3.2 and above.
That's fantastic. That is fantastic. How many sports does East Clinton actually have? I know,
Well, it kind of depends on, if you go middle school and high school and you combine it and stuff like that. In the fall, we have football, we have cross country,
Sure.
we have volleyball, and we have tennis, girls tennis in the fall.
Yeah.
And then in the wintertime, we have the basketballs, boys and girls basketballs, and then we have wrestling, okay? And then we have quick recall that we have, which we consider it a sport also because they're competing. And then in the fall, spring, we have our baseball, softball, boys tennis, and track, boys and girls track.
Well,
So
you've got a lot to oversee and to manage, but I think you've got some real good people in the program as far as coaches to help with that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm excited about here. We got new coaches, we got old coaches. We're constantly improving our staff, our size, the people that are in it, and things like that. And I got good people working with our kids, and our kids are benefiting from it.
You've got the boys coach, Scott Strieber, and he's an alumni here. You've got Steve Gerber, who's also an alumni. You've got people like Coach Rayback, who's been a coach for a long time and knows the game and knows how to coach. You've got a variety, not only people that are in coaching, but you've got people in on the staff that have past coaching experience, so they can help out a lot too.
You got a nice mixture between new and experience, and some of the experienced coaches can help some of the younger coaches, and to be quite honest with you, some of our younger coaches intensify the pace for the older coaches, to be quite honest with you. We got to keep up. Us old guys, we got to keep up. These young guys are pushing us.
Well, Jim, you've got a big red trophy down there beside you. If you want to grab that and show the folks, this is the trophy. If I'm right, you'll be awarding at the end of the day.
Yes, it's East Clinton High School 2014 dual champions. And this is, I think this is our seventh or eighth year hosting this tournament. As you can see, we got a nice variety. We use tournaments to kind of get away from the conference a little bit, get out and try to prepare ourselves for state qualifications and those type things, and see a different competition. So it's done well. These teams from Cincinnati come all the way up here, and they enjoy coming to see the country.
It's great to see Roger Bacon and Williamsburg and all of those schools are glad to come here, and that's fantastic.
All right.
Especially with the way expensive travel is anymore. So it's great to have them, and great that they have enough respect for East Clinton to come here.
Right. And, it's these kids, you see them around here, some of them aren't used to this type of atmosphere and this type of culture, and they fit in well, and it's a learning experience. That's why you talk about athletics and academics. This is a learning experience for kids. It's a learning experience for our kids. It's a learning experience for their kids.
What does it take to run the entire athletic program in a school like this? It has to be take a lot of dollars and a lot of work.
Yesterday I was here from 7 a.m. and I got home to my wife and family at 10:45.
Wow.
And today is going to be. I took a little bit of break this morning. I slept in till 8. Got here at 9. and I'm getting ready to leave here. I got a principal coming in to relieve me here, and I'm going to go down to Hillsborough and watch a little bit of girls basketball games. So I'll get home today at a reasonable time, about 5 o'clock.
Well, that's not bad for the way things normally go for you, Jim. Well, we appreciate you stopping by.
Thank you so much.
Getting ready to head down to Hillsborough, but we definitely appreciate the opportunity to be here at East Clinton to do the wrestling and do some basketball for the boys and the girls, and hopefully in the spring we'll be able to do some other sports.
Look forward to everybody go eat at Charlie's Place. It's a great place. We appreciate their sponsorship and letting us start this stuff. And, I look forward to eating there and having a good time.
Well, the folks over there, new ownership, and they are really supportive of East Clinton athletics. So thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Go Astros.
Go Astros. All right. Well, we are about ready to start another round of competition here. And Chuck, what do you think so far? It's been a pretty good day.
Yes, it has. It's been very exciting so far. Seen a lot of good matches. Should see a lot more in the future. One thing people probably aren't familiar with, the reason they're having these breaks is that wrestlers are only allowed to wrestle a match every 45 minutes.
Right.
And so as a wrestler finishes, they start that clock, but again, they can't start up again until the correct amount of time has expired. So, there will be breaks after every round, just basically to allow the wrestling time to be caught up. So,
well, you have a background in wrestling and coaching as well. I don't know where you and Coach Raybeck talked about that or not, but refresh us as far as your experience.
Well, I wrestled at Beaver Creek High School, Beaver Creek, Ohio, and before
that's
I was
home of Rick Phillips, by the way.
That's right. Yeah, great town, great people. Before I came to East Clinton, I was at Greenview High School in Jamestown, Ohio.
Yep.
And I coached the junior high wrestling team up there. I was an assistant there for several years before I came to East Clinton, and I was fortunate enough to be here when a few other like-minded individuals wanted to start wrestling, and we were fortunate enough to get the support from the boosters and the administration at the time, and allowed us to do that. So it's been a fun ride.
Well, we're a long way from done here today. A little later on, I think after this next round, there'll probably be a break, and we'll be off for a little while and then come back. But we want to remind you that we will be back after this next break, so don't go anywhere. Grab yourself some lunch, or even go to Charlie's Place and pick up a pizza, and then
and bring it to us.
Bring it to. We'll take it. We'll take food. We always.
If we're mentioning Charlie's Place, he should be listening and sending us a pizza right as we speak, right?
He ought to be. Yeah.
You don't want anchovies, though, do you?
No.
No. Okay. No anchovies, Charlie.
We want to mention our chat room is up. If you'd like to chat and make comments to us while we're here, and even during the break, we'll be glad to answer those comments as time permits. Also, you can text me at my number is 937-527-2725 during the event, and be glad to pass along any comments there that you might have. We're live here at East Clinton High School, and we've got some incredibly gifted athletes out here on 6 different teams. And Chuck, who all do we have here today?
Again, the teams here today, obviously East Clinton, the host. Also Indian Hill out of the Cincinnati area. Lockland, again, another Cincinnati area team. North College Hill. Roger Bacon in Williamsburg.
Fantastic.
Listeners are probably familiar with Williamsburg. Again, they're in the SBC, which East Clinton used to be in. And, again, I know East Clinton sees North College Hill quite a bit in wrestling, not in many other sports. So, but again, like Mr. Marsh said, this is an opportunity to get athletes in from outside the area that may not get to visit this type of environment very often. So it's kind of a neat exchange. I know when I coached here, it was always interesting to see our kids' reaction when we took them to schools that were located in more populated areas. We would go to Lockland or North College Hill, and again, our kids just were pretty floored by that experience in a lot of ways. So it's neat to kind of have the reverse of that here, have those teams come in here to see a little more rural environment.
Yeah, but great facilities here. It's not like you sometimes would expect for a rural community. This is almost a brand new facility. It's great. The gymnasium here hasn't been here all that long, maybe 10 years?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Longer than that, I know. Only reason I know that is I've been here 10 years, and it was here when I got here.
It might be 12 or a little longer,
but not much more than that. You're right.
It's relatively new compared to a lot of the other facilities around the area.
Right.
Yeah, it's an impressive building.
The new high school building, again, like you said, is only probably 13 or 14 years old. And, again, we have two gyms here. One primarily more for the middle school sports, and again, we're in the varsity gym here. But again, for a school this size to have two full gyms, again, it is a real special thing, I think. So again, like you said, we certainly do appreciate the facilities here at East Clinton.
Well, I think we're going to be ready to go here shortly. Rick, you two Beaver Creek guys are sitting back there together. That's pretty impressive now.
Well, I'm not going to even mention when I graduated because more than likely it was probably even before some people were born. But Beaver Creek at that time was much like East Clinton is. We were a rural school out in the middle of nowhere. I rode a bus 5 miles to school. I didn't live in a log cabin. A lot of people believe that, but no, I did not grow up in a log cabin, and I did not walk the 5 miles to school. I actually rode a school bus. But
was that bus drawn by a horse?
Sometimes when it broke down, we had to have the horse pull it into school. But obviously, Beaver Creek has changed over the years. Now, even back then, we had 2,500 students going to the high school,
right?
And my senior class was 625 students. So that was a fairly impressive size for a school.
Absolutely.
And Beaver Creek still remains one of the largest schools in the Greater Western Ohio League,
right,
which obviously has changed and expanded.
Right.
But as far as wrestling, Beaver Creek was the wrestling power, not only in the Dayton area, but also in the Cincinnati area. Up to that point, we had never lost a dual meet up till 1971. Now, I'm revealing when I graduated. I think the first dual meet loss was to Carroll High School in 1972. So I got out of there before they...
Yeah, they couldn't blame it on you.
Till they disintegrated, right. Actually did some, announcing for wrestling. I ran track, though.
That was way I was. But I do want to say hi to a couple of guys. Phil Whittington's up in New York, up in the Big Apple. He's probably viewing or watching. And also Chuck Howard down in the Carolinas, and he's probably in a little bit of a warmer climate, although it ain't bad out there today.
Yeah, you also said that Kevin Leach might be listening at the Equipment Superstore, right?
Absolutely. Kevin may be checking it out at the Equipment Superstore, or he may be not working today. He may be home.
Well, that's true. Is that a shameless plug that we just did?
Well, I think it is.
Oh,
but
okay.
We do want to, once again, thank our sponsor, Charlie's Place, out on Route 22 and 3 out toward the edge of Sabina. They've got pizza, subs, wings, the whole works. You can carry it out, you can dine in, and very soon we will have our East Clinton Sports Show live from there on Wednesday evenings. And later on, I think maybe Jeremy Yankee may be stopping by. Jeremy's going to be one of the folks that is going to be helping us do basketball. Robin Luck couldn't be here today. She's down at a Xavier basketball game, but she possibly will be joining us on some basketball games as well. And rumor is she's one of the all-time scoring leaders, not boys or girls, but all-time in all basketball here at East Clinton.
You read that off the paper real good there, Lee. That was pretty good.
She told me to.
What's that $20 bill laying there for?
Yeah, but she was an incredible athlete. Her dad and mom were involved in schools as well. Her dad was a principal over here. So, well, I'm going to turn it back over to you guys because I think we're about ready to start for the next round, and it should be exciting. We've got two great teams and just left to go here. So, Chuck, Rick, Coach Rebeck.
Yeah, we'll bring in the coach, and we'll remind you, this Tuesday, starting at 6:30, we're going to be bringing East Clinton basketball, boys basketball. I think they're playing Hillsborough, right? Okay, all right. Here you go, Coach.
Thanks, Rick. Chuck, here we go again, round 2, and we had Anderson, I guess, Vinuenzi for the Astros picks up a forfeit.
Anderson got a forfeit at 1:13. just in case our listeners are concerned, no, you didn't miss the 106 match. They start the next weight class up the following match. So again, we started at 106. The first match, this one started at 113. The following match will start at 120.
And we have some information on North College Hill here.
And that was Tim Sutton there from North College Hill. Just got a forfeit.
And
There's
Tim
Mackay Jones at 126. So again, kind of a string of forfeits here for the Trojans.
And let's throw some kudos. Tim Sutton was a sectional champ last year in
Tim
district
is a
qualifier.
tough wrestler.
And Mark Jones was 2013 district alternate at 126.
Yep, Mackay is very good too.
And looks like our first match is going to be Gage Morgan at 132. Gage is now 1-7 on the season.
That's right. He's facing Adrian Ward from North College Hill.
Gage is looking to hopefully continue to get his winning streak going here, Chuck.
Keep the win streak alive right here.
Becomes a streak when you get to 2.
A streak of 1. It's not a very impressive streak,
but it's a start, right?
That's right. You got to start somewhere.
You got to start with the 1 and then go. Gage is a tall kid, lanky. Was really aggressive that first match.
Yes, he was. That was nice to see out of Gage. Let's see if he gets after Adrian Ward here from North College Hill.
Okay, Gage is hanging on that head, trying to snap it down.
And he did snap Ward down a little bit. Now Ward snapped him, and
he's looking for a front headlock.
Ward has the front headlock there, got the arm.
Blocked.
He's trying to snatch the leg, and he's got it. Ward's got one leg up.
Takes him right down to a cradle.
Boy, that's right. He tried to turn that right into a cradle. He's still got the front headlock. It looks like now he's trying to lock up a cradle.
He defended that. Defended the cradle pretty well.
He did, and you can see there that Ward can't quite get it. He's got his arm over, so he can't pin Gage with it, but he can rack up a lot of back points.
What's the key to breaking the cradle there, Chuck?
Well, the key, really, what you want to do is you want to try to break the lock of the hands. If you can do that and make your body long and separate it, you can get that other man's hands apart, and that's what you're after there.
And usually kids with thick legs, it's difficult to cradle too. They can kick
more
those
power
through.
in the hips again, and hard to drive out of that. Otherwise.
Gage.
Gage turns back.
And
Ward drives through him right to his back. Gage gets back over on his belly quick. Good reaction.
And we saw that.
Slides to his hip. About to get sucked back there, and can't stay there. Can't stay on your hip.
No. He captures the head, Chuck. This could be bad.
Put the chin in the shoulder and grab the head. And
nice job.
Trouble, but fights back to his belly. Now trying to run the half here, thread the arm through.
It's not a real technical situation there, but
no, he's just kind of hanging out in front, trying to do whatever he can to turn him. And there he's under the arm, using the leverage there. He's got the head.
He's got a tight reverse half there.
Of course, that's not an illegal headlock because he doesn't have it locked up.
Right.
Or he would have to have the arm. But again, that's awful tight.
Now, if he'd move to the head and get on his toes, he'd have Gage in a real bad situation.
Exactly. Yep. And in fact, he's working that way now, trying to get his body into a perpendicular situation, or what we would call teeing it up.
And Gage was doing a pretty good job locking that ankle so that he couldn't walk to the head on that.
Yes, he was. That's right.
And I guess we're pretty fortunate to get out at 7-0 right here in the end of the first period.
That's right. 7-0 into the first period. Gage's choice he defers, and North College Hill chooses neutral. So again, we're going to start on our feet to begin the second period. Not a bad choice out of North College Hill. You look, he turned that takedown almost into a cradle. So
right.
If he can do something like that again.
And if that's the signature move, then that's why he chose to go up.
Exactly. Yep. And so Gage now after a front headlock of his own, but
a lot of guys I've known through the years always say state champs take down when they have the choice.
Yeah. In fact, a very, very well-respected wrestling coach once told me if you can't score from the bottom, you don't deserve to win. So.
Yes, and I've heard that many a time. A lot of feeling out. He's got Gage again.
He got deep on that. Actually lifted Gage all the way off the mat. Brought him down with a double.
He's climbed the body.
This could be trouble. Okay, Gage fights back to his belly.
Yeah,
he got one knee up, needs to get the other knee up. He doesn't want to go to his hip here. He wants to go to his base.
Nice hip over by...
he jumps sides, and Gage is in trouble now. He's in pretty deep. North College Hill's in deep.
He's really not got the hips down I guess points mute there.
But
We're looking at 2:59 of the second period. North College Hill, nice job there. Gage.
Right. So after all the forfeits, I couldn't tell you what the team score is at this point, but that does bring us to...
we got Cameron Block, 145 coming on.
Right.
Cameron's 8-9 after winning the first round, and we're going to see if Cameron can even his season record at 9-9 here.
Right. Okay, you got Kieran Friend here. Looks like
that would be the 138. Yep.
And here's 145. Okay. Again, Damon Bridges from North College Hill and Cameron Block from East Clinton.
And Damon was pretty impressive that first round, as we recall.
Yes. Yes.
Real athletic kid here, and Cameron's what they call a funk wrestler.
Yeah, exactly. You know, kind of a non-traditional or non-conformist style. Again, they're kind of a non-traditional move. He's on all fours right now on his own, sliding around, and Bridges just kind of says, I'm not going to let you mess around with that.
Got in on a single,
Catches
didn't
the leg
finish
right
it.
away. Now we're in a precarious position, body lock, and North College Hill turns that into a takedown. And really, I think that was more of a situation where Cameron knew he didn't want to get thrown there, so rather than give up a throw, give up a takedown and just give up two.
And one of the worst things you can do in that situation, Chuck, is to stand straight up.
Oh, that's exactly right. That's
because
exactly right.
you're going to get put on your back.
Easy to get put on your back.
Right.
And again, Bridges working hard, jump sides there.
He's got some.
Cameron staying to his base, doing a good job, but again, he's got to get the head off the mat.
And a lot of times, guys expend a lot of energy that first period. If you can weather the storm, you have to see what their conditioning is later in the match.
That's very true, very true.
So if Cameron can get through, he's looking to stack them, and he is successful.
And again, with that head down, it's easy just to roll right over top of it.
Yeah.
But Cameron, again, like we said, he is funky. He slides out.
Yep. Oh.
And Bridges decides just to kick him. So he lets him up. Now we're 4-1. Again, both wrestlers on their feet, middle of the mat.
And
looking to set something up.
Again, nice. Good shot. Low single.
Very low single there. And it looks like if he can switch off, maybe get the ankle, he can turn it out. But, he can't hold on.
Bridges spins around for two.
Picks up an easy two there on the spin. Again, Bridges kicks him. He's going to look for another takedown here. 30 seconds to go here in the first period.
Again, that's kind of deadly. You got a good takedown wrestler. It's just hard to stop this kind of stuff.
That's exactly right. And you talked about wearing a guy out. It's very easy to wear a guy out if you just take him down, let him up, take him down, let him up. That's people don't think that would be that tiring, but believe me, it is. It's frustrating. It's tiring.
You see a lot of guys expend a lot of time on the bottom trying to turn somebody, which uses up a lot of energy.
Very true.
If you're a good takedown wrestler, you can use very little energy and
that's exactly right.
And win the match.
That's exactly right. Okay, first period ends there. We've got again Bridges from North College Hill up 8-2.
And Block's got Block's got choice. He
defers, and again Bridges chooses neutral. And like we talked about, if you've got a great takedown, that's really not a bad choice.
Oh no, not at all.
You think you can. He's really taking down the Block at will almost in this first period. So,
one of the keys for the fans out there when they're in this neutral position is the man that's trying to shoot the takedown wants to get his elbows inside of the other man's arms.
That's exactly right. If your elbows are, we have an old saying when I coached here that elbows out, look out.
Right.
Because if your elbows are wide, the chances are you can get easily reversed or flipped.
And we saw Bridges, and Bridges just showed that. He got inside the elbows, opens up the hips, and he shot in and took Cameron down.
That's exactly right.
He's trying to jam the head with a quarter Nelson there.
Quarter Nelson stack again.
Oh!
Leg hook.
Now, it was a potential there. Now, Cameron has used the Peterson cradle several times this year successfully.
And again,
there we go.
Bridges.
There we go. And Bridges.
And they give him a reversal.
Come on, Cam.
For the reversal.
Cameron's got.
Getting back points right now. He's not in a very good position.
No, he's not.
Back points.
As long as he can get out of this, Chuck, he could. Oh my goodness! What a turnaround!
Yeah, boy, pin call there.
3:06 of the second period.
Yeah, Bridges looks hurt here, Coach.
Cameron Block went. He was down 12-4, Chuck.
Yeah, reversal, and again, there you go. Kind of a thing where, with a funky wrestler like that, they got to roll, and you don't know where it's coming.
Right.
That's exactly what he did, and this doesn't look good here. Bridges is still down.
Could be a shoulder, could be elbow. It's just hard to say right now.
Yeah, and again, with that with the headlock that Block had there, it's really hard to tell. It could have been that he was.
Or sometimes it's just pride, Chuck.
Well, that's right. Yeah,
you know, when you got a 12-4 lead, and if you get pinned, that's
right. I'm sure that your pride does hurt after that.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
Cameron Block goes to 9-9 on the season. That's a big win. Bridges a quality opponent.
Bridges a quality opponent without a doubt. So that is a nice win.
When did they stop throwing the?
Throwing the towel in there?
They do still do that sometimes. Some places, yeah.
Well, you'll notice our tapper has a hand on the end of it.
I saw that. That's
very fancy.
Yes.
Very fancy.
Yes.
That's right.
You go to Home Depot and you get yourself a work glove and you put it on the end of a swimming noodle and you got yourself a tapper.
Quite effective.
Yes, quite effective.
All right, here we've got 152. You got Charles Erdman coming up again, and his opponent from North College Hill is Greg Rader. Rader had a pretty nice match his first round.
Yeah, he was.
What he was here with Erdman.
He's our man that upset the wrestler from Roger Bacon, wasn't he? No, I don't know.
Indian Hill, wasn't it?
Indian Hill. Right.
Yep. So the delay here, we've got a little bit of a question here on the way that last match ended. I guess North College Hill's coach is consulting the rule book, and so
he's wondering. I would think what he's probably saying here is if there's an injury involved, it would be what they call a 4-point near fall.
Right, yeah. Generally, if a wrestler is injured, they're not going to let him be pinned while he's injured. They will stop the match.
Right.
But again, that's one of those gray areas where
definitely a judgment call.
Exactly. In wrestling, there's a lot of positions you're in that are quote unquote pressure positions where they may hurt, but you're not necessarily injured.
Yep.
And that's one of the jobs of a referee is determining whether or not a wrestler is in a position where he is in pain or whether he is injured. And
right.
And again, that's a judgment call that the referee has to make. And obviously, he thought Bridges was obviously in distress, but not injured. So.
One thing, Chuck, while we've got this time out, one of the things I like about wrestling, maybe opposed to football and basketball and even baseball, is officiating wrestling's a little bit more clear-cut, I think.
There aren't as many judgment calls, I agree.
Right. Yeah. I think that, that you can debate takedowns and things like that.
Sure.
But I think that it's a little bit more clear-cut and what the calls are. And as a fan learns the game, I think it's easier to follow from that standpoint.
I agree. And I think another part of that is that wrestling lends itself to, the referee has a hard time determining the outcome of a match.
Right, exactly.
A lot of times, no matter if there's a bad call or not, dictate who wins.
Charles is in on a single.
In deep on an
if he can climb the body, he can go.
It looks like he's out the back.
Oh, and he's got reverse half.
A reverse half out of it.
And Chuck's got good position. He's off his knees. He's got an arch. There we go. Now, if he could pull up that far elbow, Chuck, he would really have a nice position.
Stop his opponent from bridging.
Chuck's got to stay under the head, though. Got to stay under the head.
And again, you can see there, that's what his opponent's doing, sliding on his head.
Yep.
Trying to bridge.
Now, if he would walk to the head a little bit, get more weight on that upper torso.
Charles has a good finish here. He's got his legs wide.
Yes, he does.
Putting a lot of pressure on that one point on the chest where their chests meet.
There we go. And at 59 seconds of the first period.
Boy, that's a nice win for Charles.
Yeah, he'd been a little losing streak lately, and that's a big win for Chuck.
That's right.
Nice job, Chuck.
Okay, here we've got Tim Mullins from North College Hill is going to get a forfeit at 160.
And again, Zach Rayback, injury prevents Zach from getting the opportunity to go out there and try to run his record a little higher this week. But
I will say this is a situation, Coach, I mentioned before about a wrestling brother. Connor Wilson from North College Hill had a brother that graduated, I want to say 2 years ago, that was a very excellent wrestler.
Wow.
And he's wrestling Morgan Tolier from East Clinton. So.
And wrestling families they just grow up knowing that stuff from a young age.
Well, you can see here you've got two aggressive young men here.
Yep.
Aren't afraid to get after it. And they're getting in there and tying up.
A lot of throws.
Yep.
Now,
like we talked about, you get into the
try to Japanese whizzer, but
more of a funk type move you don't see a lot.
No.
Come on, Colin.
He could set up that whizzer again. He's got
right. Yeah, it's there, but he wasn't able to finish it. Couldn't get control of it for a takedown. So.
Unusual for a big guy. Usually don't see Japanese whizzer out of the heavier guys.
Bigger classes, but there you go, Coach, showing his range. He went from trying to hit a Japanese whizzer to a low single there. And Looks like he finished it, so he's up 2-0 here.
And
Toll doing a good job moving.
He's moving, and that's the key to getting out.
Exactly. And one thing that he caught Connor Wilson was on his knees there.
Right.
While Morgan was spinning, and he almost got away.
Connor's getting a little high, which...
Yeah, he's way out in front right now, and that's really not where you want to be.
No.
Especially with nothing really trapped. He doesn't have the leg, and there you go.
Right.
Morgan now has his ankle. Morgan stepped over his ankle, but...
Oh, and he up.
Ooh, just about a stack there, and that's not a place you want to be.
The one good thing is you can't get pinned out of bounds, and they were right on the edge of the mat.
They were, that's right. But I'll tell you what, you get in that position in the middle of the mat.
Yeah,
it's
good night.
That's right.
As Dandy Don used to say, turn out the lights, the party's over.
Party is over, that's right. So here we got Toll starting the down position. Again, Connor's on his knees, not doing a real good job getting pressure.
Now, Morgan, if he just got to keep on doing that, Chuck. Got to keep on
That's exactly right.
Making some stand-ups, and that's going to work out for him. I mean, a standing half, that's not a real good thing there.
No, it's not.
And if you can peel, and that's kind of a risky roll-through type of move.
Yes, it was. That could have been catastrophic right there. But so Morgan ends up on his back out of the deal, and again.
And we almost had a coup de grace there for Morgan Toll, but
Morgan did a good job fighting off his back. Gets back to his belly. Now he's back in his base already. So see if he can't get a quick.
And he's going to survive the first period.
Yep, he's just going to ride him out here.
And we got 5-0 at the end of the first period. And again, we talked about a little bit earlier, sometimes it's not right in the beginning of the match that tells how it's going to turn out. It's in that third period.
That's exactly right.
And we see where the better conditioning comes in.
Right. Wilson defers, and Morgan Toll chooses down here to start the second period.
Morgan with his gold shoes there.
Yeah.
Wonder how much those cost. No?
I don't even want to think.
A little bit different than the $19 Asics they used to have.
So Toll starts down. His head down, and he rolls.
And we're getting back points.
So again, another position where you just don't want to have your head down.
Wow, he's kind of man. Oh, we had.
You can see the strength Toll has.
Yes.
Though I mean, he does a good job fighting off his
good
back.
arch there. Good arch. I mean,
yes.
And that's what makes Morgan dangerous. Is he's always got that ability. I've seen him do it several times. As you roll right through and reverse, like we saw Cameron block.
Yeah,
do.
I was just going to say he has a tendency to hit some of the same funk type moves like we talked about earlier.
Right.
But unfortunately, he can't get out of that one. Wilson pins him there. So
at 2:39, second period. Morgan he fought a game match there, but just. Technically, he just wasn't up to the challenge there.
That's right. And like I said, Wilson is a good wrestler who I know has a lot of years experience. So
yes,
Morgan just being a second-year wrestler, that's a pretty tall order.
Nate Morgan, Nate's 3-9, picking up a forfeit in the first round.
No, check that. Yeah, that's right. And he's got it's like Cameron Avery here from North College Hill.
Avery wrestled a good match that first round too before he got.
Yeah,
I think he succumbed to a pin there,
got stuck, but didn't do bad.
He was wrestling Scotty too hotty, and
that's right.
Scotty must have been too much for him there.
That's right.
Nate
is
front headlock.
Yep, trying to spin.
Oh, nice.
Takedown looks like hadn't been awarded yet. There it is.
Nice.
2 points. And looks like Nate's got a shoulder problem there. I know he's had shoulder issues in the past. Let's hope it's nothing too serious.
On takedowns, Chuck. For our fans, normally for them to score a takedown, they have to have control with 3 points down on the mat.
Right.
They got mixed matches.
So sometimes fans will see a takedown and the man on the bottom is up on all four and they haven't awarded the 2 points just because there has to be control.
Exactly. That makes all the difference. So Kerry Terrell, the Astros trainer here, is looking over Nate Morgan. And out there with his coaches.
This be too bad for Nate. It was a nice start to the match.
Yes,
I hope.
Yes, it was. And it looked to be a pretty good matchup, these two young men. So hopefully Nate can
he's stretching out a little bit. He's seeing what his range of flexibility is. And that looks encouraging there.
Yes, it does. Yeah, to even be able to attempt that tells me he's going to try to go here. So he's bouncing. He looks ready to go. So,
And in wrestling, they have what they call injury time.
right.
Injury time, they get 5 minutes, I believe, for.
Yeah, 5 minutes for. I believe it is. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, I think that's it.
But yeah, if a wrestler becomes injured, there is a time allotted, and then again after that time, then they would have to forfeit the match. But again, same thing with bleeding. If a wrestler would start bleeding, there is a blood time that is ran. And again, now the only difference would be if the opponent did an illegal move to cause either one of those to happen.
Right.
Then they would win the match by default.
Right.
The injured wrestler. But again, nothing like that here. He was just injured, kind of a fluke thing. So. But, stretching, but we're back at it here. So again,
Nate with a 2-0 lead, and we're only 21. Ooh, look for a suck back on that, but
tried to chin him back there, couldn't quite do it. But again, he
still good.
And I'll tell you, Curry's in trouble if he keeps going to his hip like that.
Quarter Nelson, he's trying to stack him here. He's walking to the head, power half, and
settles back. He's got it deep, boy. His hand is on the opposite ear.
He can scoop if he can reverse that.
And he's settled back, and if he gets chest to chest, this could be all she wrote.
Yeah, he's a little bit too far over right now. Now
he's got to settle back.
And he's got to drive those hips down into him. But he's getting good points here, Chuck.
That's right. The half came out, but he did snatch the opposite arm there, but I don't know if he's got quite the pressure here to get the pin. And
yes, he did. So at 1:11 of the first period, Nate Morgan goes 2-0 on the day.
Nate Morgan with a big pin there. And again, that's a nice win for Nate.
Yeah. And a lot of time in wrestling, you see kids just confidence. Early on in the season, things might not go well, but they get themselves on a good roll. This
all
is
the difference. Josh Roberts here at 220.
And don't have any info on the opponent here.
What name do you guys have there?
Good-looking athlete, though, so Josh will have his hands. Well, Josh is a lot like Cameron. And
Blankhead, okay. Yeah, this is Jameer Bankhead, excuse me, gentlemen. Jameer Bankhead from North College Hill. And again, Roberts, a tall, lanky wrestler. Bankhead, more of a shorter, squatty type body. So again, like we talked about, kind of the
different body
types.
Yep. And Josh is a little bit of a, like Morgan and Cameron Block, a little bit of a funk wrestler. He'll roll around a lot.
For sure, yeah. Non-traditional.
Right.
For sure.
And sometimes fans find that more exciting.
That can be, but Bankhead.
Not for the coach, though.
No, definitely not for the coach.
As we talked about.
Nice underhook there, and he throws him to his back.
Yeah. And
Roberts is in trouble.
Yeah, very much so. Hips down, he's got his legs spread. He's got all that weight in there.
Roberts is trying to fight to one hip and maybe get his arm back through, but I don't think he's...
Yeah, if he can thread the arm under the...
He tries to go the other way, but Bankhead catches him.
And scoops the head again.
Yeah.
Best thing you can do here, if you're on the edge, you can try to work your way off the mat and hope they call you out of bounds.
Yeah, you can. But unfortunately, he couldn't get it going, and Bankhead with the fall there.
At 1:06 of the first period, Bankhead, Josh just couldn't funk his way through that one.
That's right. So here we've got Peyton Vest at heavyweight for East Clinton. And he's wrestling Michael Harris.
And Michael Harris was a sectional runner-up and district qualifier last year.
Yeah, he had a nice year last year, and I've heard he's off to a pretty good start this year. So.
And Peyton lost his first match, so let's see if he can get some redemption. It'd be a big win for Peyton if he could win this one.
And again, I didn't see the weigh-in sheets, but I'll tell you this, like we mentioned before, this is a situation where I think Peyton's a little outweighed by Michael. Michael's a pretty large kid, and Peyton's not small, but Michael I think is a little bigger. So Michael gets a quick takedown there. It's 2-0 North College Hill.
And Peyton's been trying to get down to 220 to give fans an idea that he's that close.
Right. So And
again, he's got a
North College Hill has wrist control, and he turns that into
a ball and chain tilt, and this
Peyton's
is
in trouble.
Right.
This looks like the fall right here.
Yeah. And at 36 seconds of the first period, Harris, impressive for a big guy running a ball and chain there.
Yes, that's right. And not only that, but to shoot a low single like that out of a big kid is a pretty rare feat too. So.
And if you can do that, you can go a long way at state.
That's right.
As a big kid.
And it could be a big year for Michael this year. He's a good kid who's worked hard, so good luck to him.
Here we go.
So
Josh Jones.
Last match we started with 106. This time we end with it And again, Josh Jones, 2-0 on the day, another forfeit. So.
And Josh's record goes up to 10-8 on the season.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Josh is a great story. That's a young man that came up through the junior high program here, works hard. Obviously he's always been in the lowest weight class. I think when he started junior high, the lowest weight class is 80 pounds, and I don't think he was even close to that. But still went out there and gave it a good effort.
Well, I think he's still one of those kids that can come in fully dressed and make weight.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever had to cut weight a day in his life. It may not, but a great young man, the kind of kids that you really need to build a wrestling program.
Right. Very technical kind of kid.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
So.
And right there, he's collected 12 team points for East Clinton today.
Exactly.
Exactly. Just by making weight. So.
And we shift over to the other mat. We've got Williamsburg and Roger Bacon. I think this is the 220.
Yeah, and I think this is Scotty Too Hottie, like we talked about.
Yeah, I think so too.
And looks like he's having a pretty dominant performance. I look over the scores, 10-0 here in the third period. He does get hit with stalling. I checked that. The bottom man gets hit with stalling, and
and that's
Scotty kicks him, and so we're at 10-11.
This is Williamsburg's. Well, we don't have any info on this particular wrestler. We've got the lowest they go with info is 170. So usually the coaches highlight, and we're gonna follow this one through and see how this ends up. And
try to cradle and got rolled through there. But.
Yeah, not quite enough time for the tech fall here. 12-1 with very few seconds remaining.
This is going to be a major decision, though. Which
yes, it is.
Will go down as 14 points.
So Scotty Too Hottie with a 12-1 victory, and
it looked to have been a pretty dominant performance.
Yeah, it was. And they'll roll back around to the.
That should be the last match for that duel as well, because
they only had
Roger Bacon's next wrestle would be at 138, and that would have already been wrestled.
Right.
So
now they'll have some exhibition matches, and we don't have a whole lot of information on these.
No, actually, we don't have any on the exhibition matches.
Right.
It looks like, let's see here. Indian Hill and Lockland will be coming up next. It'll be the third match of this round. So
maybe we can get Jim Vest up here for a minute to talk a little bit about the biddy program. If is he running the scoreboard there?
Unfortunately, Coach Vest.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll get a chance to talk to Jim. He can talk a little bit about the biddy program and how things are going with that this year. And we have been real fortunate to see some great wrestling today. The Astros, talking to Coach Stalen about where we were in tournaments last year. We struggled the first few years and had a hard time scoring points and getting placers. Right. But this year we've been able to regularly place, and we've been in the middle of the pack and scoring with the tournaments. So we're seeing some strides with the wrestling program. Yeah, and as you said, it's a very young program.
Yeah, it is. And like we talked about too, when you start from scratch, you have to generate all that interest from scratch as well. And so,
Chuck, we're going to grab one of these. Right here, we've got Thomas Wright. Thomas is our 120 and endured a collarbone injury during football season and has kept him from coming back. Thomas, when are you going to return to the team?
This Monday.
Okay. You excited about making the return?
I am really excited. I'm seeing the competition that's out here today in my weight class, and I think I can do really well.
Good. We talked about football. You got injured. Talk about a little bit about your injury. It was a little bit different of a collar injury.
Yeah. Well, after a pass, I got tackled out of bounds, and I dislocated my collarbone, and it was sticking up out of my skin, and I shattered it in 5 spots. And I went to the doctors, and next Monday, a week later, I had surgery on it. I'm still recovering. So.
And did they have to put pins and things in it?
Yeah. I had a long plate that goes across most of my collarbone and 5 titanium screws that go down into it.
Okay. And we thought when this initially happened, there was some doubt about you even coming back this year, but we're excited to see that next week you'll be able to wrestle.
Yeah, I am too. Originally they were saying the 28th of January, and that would leave me with just the SCOL tournaments. And I'm excited to be back Monday to get at least a couple more tournaments in before SCOL.
You want to talk a little bit about wrestling in your life? I mean, a little bit of your background, how you're a ninth grader this year, your first year on varsity. Talk about your junior high experience, maybe Biddy, some of the things that you've done to get yourself ready for this year.
Well, this summer I went to this summer-long program, and it was Coach Burns, and I don't know where he went. He moved.
Okay.
And during that I learned a lot. And that's really, I went to tournaments, and that's really where I improved the most in my wrestling career, I think.
What age did you start at?
I think, honestly I don't remember. It was the first year, or the second year we had a program at East Clinton, so I think it was like 7, 8.
2008 maybe,
yeah.
somewhere in there. Okay, well, good. Well, Thomas, thanks for sharing some time with us, and hopefully we're going to get you on TV here in the near future out there winning some matches for the Astros.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Thomas.
Thanks.
Chuck, Thomas Wright, we've been looking forward to getting Thomas back into the lineup. It's going to be one of our bright young stars.
Yeah, in fact, I can tell you that when I was a part of the program, we were really looking forward to Thomas coming up. So he is a very talented young man. Again, only a freshman, so he's got a bright future ahead of him. One thing that he did mention was the fact that you'll see a lot of the elite level wrestlers. Really, it's a year-round endeavor for them.
Yeah.
They are wrestling in tournaments all summer. They're attending camps all summer. So to think that really successful wrestlers just show up in November and they're done in March is really a misnomer.
Right.
It takes a year-round commitment to be an elite level wrestler.
Yeah, pretty much so. And if I can get my hooks on Zach Rayback here, we'll let Zach talk a little bit. He's walking around with his sling on as we talked about, suffered an injury yesterday.
Right.
And we got Cody Matthews. Cody, you want to come on up here grab our East Clinton offensive line coach.
One of the things I want to interject here is the basketball game that we're covering here at East Clinton this Tuesday. Our coverage starts at 7. The game starts at 7:30. We were saying 6:30 and 7. It's actually 7 for the start of our broadcast and 7:30 for the start of the game.
Thank you, Rick. And looking forward to getting the Astros basketball out here. Shifting gears a little bit, we've pulled our assistant 8th grade wrestling coach and varsity offensive line coach, Cody Matthews, over here. How's things going today, Cody?
Good, Bill. How you doing?
I'm good. How's things looking in the weight room? How do we look there, getting things ready for next year?
Well, I feel like our numbers are growing every day, and that's always something you want to see. We're getting the right kids in there. Kids coming back, they're getting stronger. So I always want to see that, Bill.
Okay. Cody was we were real fortunate to grab Cody up from Hillsboro this year. He came highly recommended to us from one of the Olds families, Steve Olds, who's over at King's with his brother Andy, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
And he taught you. Says you're a guru of the zone blocking. You want to talk about a little bit about what zone blocking is for the fans out there?
Yeah, sure. Zone blocking is a concept. It was developed to really eliminate penetration. If you got undersized linemen, more quicker linemen, guys who can move on a track. Like I said, eliminate any penetration. You really want to create a wall. The running back's going to press the center, and he's going to find his lane. It can develop anywhere from right up the middle to a cutback all the way on the backside, really. You want quicker, more athletic linemen, and that's what we got here. We got a good foundation for that. Guys with good feet. We got to get their upper bodies built, get them bench pressing guys off of them, move the ball vertically down the field.
Would you like to put some kudos out to some of your key returners for next year?
Definitely. We got DJ Luttrell. He's coming back. He's a sophomore this year. He'll be a junior. He was second team All-League. Same with Caleb Kaplinger. He was a junior. He was second team All-League. They were both Lombardi Award finalists, and they were also be up for the Anthony Munoz Award for Lineman of the Year. And we got Travis Cannell. He's coming back. He's a freshman. So those three guys are going to make up one side of our line, and we're excited about that.
Who might be some kids? I mean, we know we were graduating Jaden Luttrell. We've had many kids play on what we call our strong tackle. Who are some of the young and upcoming kids that we might see playing that strong guard, strong tackle position?
Oh, we got really a pretty good list of kids who are going to try to fill in at that side. We've got Charles Erdman. He's actually wrestling today. He's got great feet, really big calves. We always joke he's got tree trunks down there for legs. We've got Jaron Evans. He's a freshman coming up. He needs to add some strength. He's got really great feet. He's going to be a great lineman in the future. Cameron Klein, he's a kid who's talked about coming out and playing. Tyler Stewart, he's a kid who's going to come back. We've got really a myriad of kids that can fill in and do that for us. If I'm missing anybody, you can remind me.
We do have a big young man in the school that you've been trying to get off.
Dallas Fife, if you're listening out there, we want you to come play ball. Okay, we'll work around your schedule, whatever it takes. If you're out there listening, we want you to come play ball.
Does Dallas have the dimensions to play Big Ten football?
I think he does, Bill. Dallas is, you could say, what'd you say, 6'5", 6'6"?
Easily 6'5".
275. Yeah. So that's definitely a kid you want to get out to the program, and short of paying the kid, I don't know what we can do to get him to come out, but we'd really like to see him. And I'm trying to think if there's anybody else, but I can't think off the top of my head, of course, on the spot here. They got you guys taped off like you work at the White House, so.
Did they work at the White House? I didn't know they did that.
They're always on vacation in Hawaii or something, aren't they? Well, that's Cody Matthews. He's our, as I say, our offensive line coach. He works in the wrestling program with our junior high program. Cody, what about the junior high? Give us maybe a capsule summary of some kids that we can look forward to coming up in the program.
Well, at the junior high level, we're all relatively new to the sport. So anytime you do that, you're going to be some growing pains. We got a couple kids, though, that really did well at our tournament yesterday. Robert Norman, he's a big kid. He can wrestle up probably 20 pounds above his weight class, and he's much quicker than the other kids. Skylar Blair, he's another kid who's going to be good in the future. Caleb Williams, he had a good first half of the tournament yesterday, kind of fell off at the end, but a really quick kid, really aggressive kid. Logan McPherson, he's been doing the Pee Wee wrestling there for a few years, and he's gonna continue to get better. And really, you can't say enough about all of them. They all, for the first year, none of them come out and quit. They're all out there trying, and we just appreciate the effort they're putting in.
Well, thanks, Cody. I just wanted to get your input on the younger kids and see how football's going, shaping up for next year. Appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you very much, Bill.
And you want to get Jim Vest here? We talked about the Biddy program. Jim, we're going to get Jim Vest. He runs our Biddy program here at East Clinton, and I'm going to have him talk here a little bit about our younger kids.
I'd like to remind everybody that you're listening to the East Clinton channel on GTVR, Global TV Radio. Glad to bring you this tournament.
Okay, we're here with Jim Vest. Jim heads up our Biddy wrestling program. Jim, talk about the history of it a little bit and some of the things you see going on.
We started in 2008. Neil Flint and his dad, they started it up, and they started off with 14 kids, and I took over 3 years ago, and I built it up to about 60, and 60 or so, right, 60 or a little less, but we're doing pretty good.
How many of the transitioning to junior high next year, what would you say our numbers might be with sixth graders coming up?
We got a lot of sixth graders, good class. If they all stay together, we encourage them to come up. Last year we only sent 3, and next year we got a lot of sixth graders. We should have probably about 10, 12 sixth graders coming up next year.
Very good. Talk a little bit about Biddy if people aren't familiar with it, where you go to wrestle, the type of tournaments, maybe some of the differences between varsity and Biddy tournaments.
In our tournaments, we're called the Kobe Wall, and what everybody does every Sunday, that's when the youth wrestles. Everybody's in a 3-man or 4-man bracket, and everybody gets at least 3 matches every Sunday. It usually helps out, and they're guaranteed 3 to 4 matches a day. So they get a lot of action.
What's the if you're a junior high wrestler outside of 7th and 8th graders who are obviously here at the school, what's the big event that these kids are shooting for at the end of the season?
Usually our league tournament, which is at Miami Trace this year, they want that title as a league champ, and but a lot of them, I get like a handful to go to district and state for the little ones. So, and a lot of them like to do that, but the big main thing is our league championship.
Well, that was Jim Vest, heads up our biddy program here at East Clinton. And Jim, thanks for taking some time to discuss your program.
Thank you very much.
And I'm going to turn this over to the head man, Chuck. Anything to add at this point?
No, like you said before, I think we've seen a lot of good, aggressive wrestling today. It's been an exciting day. We've got 2 rounds in the book, 3 to go. Again, the next round, East Clinton will be wrestling, let me see here, Roger Bacon. So, again, probably going to be a win for East Clinton just based on the forfeits of Roger Bacon. But, again, we'll see how well those 3 matches end up. I did have a request, Bill. If you could go over some of the scoring. We had that request, some of the how scoring happens in wrestling.
Okay.
And,
again, in the match, or are we talking
the match score?
Okay, when the way the match begins is they're both on their feet, or what we call neutral position, and when a man takes another man down, meaning they get 3 points of the body, meaning knees and an elbow or a hand, they will be awarded 2 points for demonstrating control.
Right.
At that point, if they are able to, the man on the bottom who is under control, if he can reverse control and take control of the other man, that's called a reversal, and they are awarded 2 points for that. Another way the man on the bottom can score is by getting away, which we call an escape, and they would get 1 point. And then when they're on the mat, it gets a little bit more difficult to differentiate, but when they put their shoulders towards the mat, and if you can imagine taking a right angle, if their shoulders go to a 45-degree angle to the mat or less, then they are awarded what we call a near fall.
Because they're near to a fall or a pin.
Right, their shoulder blades are near the mat, and if they get a 2-point near fall, they were able to maintain that for 2 seconds.
Right.
And then if they get a 5 count on that, they get what we call a 3-point near fall. The match can end with a pin if they are able to put both shoulder blades in contact with the mat for 2 consecutive seconds. Unlike WWE,
no
where
3 counts.
Yeah, no 3 counts, and if their shoulders are down like that, they are going to be pinned. So that's a little bit about the match scoring.
Right.
And no folding chairs, right?
Yeah,
no folding chairs, no ladders.
And we don't have cage matches. Don't tell Jim Marsh that. You might see some chain link fence rolling in here pretty soon.
I don't want to get in the ring with Jim. He's way bigger than I am, that's for sure.
And there's Lee Hendee. We'll turn it over to Lee for a little bit, and he's going to talk about our network and things that we're going to be doing.
Yeah, we have high school basketball, boys basketball coming up Tuesday evening right here at East Clinton, as we will have East Clinton versus Hillsborough boys basketball right here live with video and audio at East Clinton High School. Pre-game will be at 7, game at 7:30. And I want to thank Chuck and Coach Rayback and everybody here at East Clinton for all of their hospitality. Jim Marsh, athletic director, and Jason Bassford, who has helped us a lot with the technology. A lot goes into putting these webcasts or broadcasts together, so you just don't show up and be ready to go in 5 minutes. It's took us a little while to get things going today, and we apologize for being on a little late, but we got it on, and here we are, Rick.
Well, absolutely, and each time we get into a new phase of the development of the Global TV, radio network, it's a learning curve.
Yes.
And at this point, as an example, we're actually using one camera as we do additional broadcasts in basketball and other sports. We'll be going to a multi-camera format.
Right.
Once again, that's a learning curve. So in each case, we're just fortunate that we've got a school system like the East Clinton school system that is willing to be our partner in this endeavor, and I'm sure that other schools that see these broadcasts on the East Clinton channel will understand how valuable it could be for them to join East Clinton in providing their own access for their athletics and for other things in their schools.
Absolutely, it's really cutting edge technology, and it's the wave of the future, really.
Absolutely, and when you couple that with our new Roku channel, which we're going to be revealing in the second quarter of this year, we'll go right into people's homes on their television sets. So it won't even be a case where they have to access us through their computer. They can access us on tablets. They can access us, on their smartphones.
Yep.
But they can also see us in living color on their digital television.
Well, I think here in the next few minutes we'll be getting ready for the third round of action. Then after that we'll have about a half an hour break, or maybe a little less than that, before the action starts. So we will be off for a little while, and then we'll be back at about half an hour after we stop. So
we're sort of give people a heads up as far as when we'll be back on the air.
Right.
We're only going to take the break, because obviously from our standpoint, if we could probably fill that, but we're trying to bring people on, talk about different parts of the program and things like that. But for us, we even have to take a break.
Yes.
We're not superhuman as most people believe.
Yeah. But once again, our action sponsored by Charlie's Place in Sabina, Ohio, 66 North Howard Street, right as you're going outside of town, right near Ewell's IGA, and I know a lot of folks know where that is. You can call them up at 584-9632 or 584-9634. They would love to take your order, and you tell them that the folks over here at East Clinton High School is telling you to call them up and order something good, and it's all good over there at Charlie's Place. In the next couple of weeks, we'll be getting our East Clinton Sports Show started over there live.
This is something unusual here, Lee. We've got a young woman and a young man wrestling each other.
I'm going to get back to the camera.
Yeah. This is how long have we been doing this, or is this just exhibition?
No, this is a regular varsity match. In fact, I want to say last year, the year before, a young woman from Northern Ohio qualified for the state tournament, and that was a first for Ohio. I got to go up and watch her wrestle. Unfortunately, saw her get put out of the tournament, but this has been quite a trend actually in wrestling for the past couple of years. There's actually women's wrestling in the Olympics now, so it's been a real trend. Some states actually recognize an individual state tournament just for the ladies, but again, Ohio does not. Consequently, they still wrestle with the men.
Well, it's obviously great that they can participate, and I know that it's probably not. We'll call it mainstream at this point, but at least from the standpoint of being able to let these girls wrestle, this gives them a great opportunity once again to maybe participate in a sport that they don't normally participate in. I know when my one daughter was at Wilmington High School. They had a lacrosse club at that time.
Right.
It was all comprised of boys, and she desperately wanted to play lacrosse. She played soccer a lot, but she was sort of an aggressive young woman and it's nice to see that they're letting these girls participate in some of what we would consider to be male sports.
Very true. In fact, let's see if we can. This is Kristen Abrams from Williamsburg, and she is wrestling Will Sweeney from North College Hill. And Kristen is up here 7-2. She's been the dominant wrestler in this match up to this point. And in fact, like I said, to an outsider, they probably think that's pretty odd. But wrestling, the women in wrestling has been around quite a while. When I coached at Greenview, we had a young lady there that ended up wrestling for the high school program there for a couple of years, and she actually went on and wrestled on a scholarship at a school in Pennsylvania. So there are recognized NCAA scholarship women's wrestling programs as well. So it's not as rare as you might think anymore. But again, definitely not mainstream, but getting there, and it's only going to grow. Women's wrestling has only grown in the past years, and I guarantee you this: if you go to a biddy tournament or a Pee Wee tournament today, you're going to see a good number of girls there wrestling.
Well, that's. I know that some people would probably think it unusual. Obviously, particularly since wrestling is such a contact sport.
That's very true, and in fact, there have been several instances where it's been in the national media where there was a wrestler, I believe, in Nebraska that that ended up losing a place in the state tournament because rather than wrestle a girl, he defaulted. He felt it was against his religious views, and he chose not to wrestle. And so, you are going to have that, and those are some of the issues that are going to come up when you have, like you said, two genders in a very, very contact-oriented sport.
Right. It's not like maybe playing basketball against. But this young lady here looks like she's very good.
Yeah. In fact, I think I recognize her from junior high. I've seen her wrestle before, and she is a pretty tough competitor. She has a sister that's on the varsity team, also for Williamsburg. That's a senior, I believe, but she's must be injured, not wrestling. But again, another one of our wrestling families. In this instance, they just happen to be sisters, not brothers.
I hope she's not injured. She looked like she was. She's sort of.
Pretty good shot on her elbow there, I think. But she's on now, and so again, Indian Hill wrestler sits out there and looks like he's got a reversal, and he does. So that runs it to 7-5 here with about 15 seconds to go here in the first period.
We'd like to remind people that we will be taking a break after this round. For about a half an hour, we'll be off the air, but we want you to come back and join us for the finish of the tournament. I think we'll have 2 other sessions after that.
Yeah, there's 5 total rounds, right? So that's the end of the first period. 7-5 Abrams from Williamsburg. And looks like it's going to be Indian Hill's choice. He is going to choose down. So again, like we discussed earlier, down is probably the preferred position as far as opportunity goes, because you have the opportunity to
either escape or reversal. Right, yeah.
But Abrams is not letting that happen. She's keeping the pressure on, breaks him down right away, going for the hash, jump sides. And she continues to circle towards the head. And again, that just increases the leverage all the time.
She's got good technique. She's very good at.
She's got him turned, but again, she's too high. He's able to roll her through, maybe about halfway through, and no, she's able to pull him back down. So again, she's continuing to accrue back points there.
Oh,
and there's it. So 36 seconds into the second period, total of 2:36 match time. Williamsburg with the fall. All right, and that was the 120 class, like we talked about. And it looks like we've got a forfeit here at 126 for Indian Hill. Whitman gets a forfeit. And at 132, we do have a match. We have, looks like Trent Brewer from Williamsburg versus Venner from Indian Hill. Again, this is the 132 class, so they shake hands and we begin. Just feeling each other out. Outside tie. And Brewer, check that Venner. Took kind of a shot there. Oh, Brewer drags him by there and gets a takedown. So 2-0 Williamsburg. And he's being aggressive, going right for it there. Looks like he's got the elbow trapped. Kind of a grapevine pin here. He steps around to the other side. And he's got back points. Looks like he's got 3 already. So at worst, a pin. At best, 5-0. We'll see what happens. Again, shoulder is close, but he's got his hip over, so he's not in a lot of danger here. But
well, he certainly got plenty of time. So
yeah, that's right. That's a lot of time. So obviously he doesn't want to stay there for the rest of the period. But again, like we said, unless Williamsburg's able to change his pressure here, he's in an okay spot. And it looks like Brewer's going to jump sides, and here we go. Now he's chest to chest. Looks like Indian Hill's in trouble, and looks like it's a fall for Brewer from Williamsburg.
Now, for the people that aren't aware, when you wrestle at the high school level,
right,
is the mat, are the things the same as far as at the college level? Or do they change as far as scoring?
There's a few slight differences. I believe the dimensions of the mat are the same. There's a few minor differences as far as that goes. I believe they require more out of bounds in college because of the differences in the scoring there. But college also has what's called riding time, where when a wrestler is in control, they accrue riding time.
Right.
And then when the other wrestler is in control, that time goes down. Well, if you have a net of 1 minute over your opponent at the end, that's an extra point.
Oh, okay.
High school wrestling, they don't have that. Part of the reasoning, the fact that high school is more geared towards constant action and motion. Whereas, in college, if you're riding a guy, that would probably be perceived as stalling in high school.
Okay.
So that's the biggest major difference, I would say.
And I'm certain that a lot of these young athletes that are wrestling today will probably go on to wrestle in college.
Well, unfortunately, sadly, there aren't nowhere near as many college wrestling programs as there are high school wrestling programs.
Right.
And sadly, one of the unintended consequences of legislation like Title IX and other things, trying to have equality for both male and female
Right,
sports,
so they've had to cut some of the sports.
It's cheaper
and
to cut wrestling than to add a women's sport. And so, unfortunately,
it comes back to economics.
Right. Wright State and University of Dayton are two local examples I can think of right away that have had wrestling and lost it in the past 20 years or so. So, unfortunately, college wrestling is not. I wouldn't say a large number of these gentlemen will go on to wrestle in college, unfortunately.
Right.
There just aren't as many opportunities. And so, again, we've got Williamsburg and Indian Hill here. We're at 138. And it looks like we've got right on the edge, and we've got an escape there. So we're back to neutral here. With 52 seconds to go. And Indian Hill wrestlers up 5-1 at this point. And nice single leg, but he's able to roll it through. So I'll check that. Now we're 5-3 apparently. And Williamsburg with a reversal there. And Indian Hill's on his back. We've got about 25, less than 20 seconds. And we have a fall with 21 seconds to go in the period. Williamsburg with the fall.
All right, well, I'll bring Coach Ray back in here. He took a little break. And just to remind you, this is the East Clinton channel on GTVR, Global TV Radio. Glad to bring you this tournament from Lee's Creek.
Thank you, Rick. I'm back, Chuck.
All right, Bill. We've been watching, again, just a reminder for the viewers, we're watching presently Indian Hill and Williamsburg. And looks like this is 145. We've got Lenzel Cure from Indian Hill and Sean Tarvin from Williamsburg, if we have the correct names.
And they're locked up there. Looks like he's trying to throw him.
And he had the leverage, see where he was under the shoulder there,
yeah.
What we call the underhook position. And that did give him the leverage. Unfortunately, wasn't able to.
Down in the head hard on that.
That's right. Forcing the head down, then that's a good thing to do.
Buddy.
Hill, nice dump off there. Turns it into a takedown.
He does. Nice. Gonna lose on the. He may lose control. He has an escape.
So we've got 2-1 now with an escape. Just under 1:30 to go in the first period.
Ooh, tries a high crotch.
High crotch or a fireman's there.
Well,
Williamsburg did a good job controlling the head.
He's down in the head and he's trying to get around.
He's got to get that leg free and get around behind for two.
We used to call that getting around the corner and try to get to that ankle.
Corner, a lot of times we hear that. Yep. And nice job by Indian Hill fighting back to his feet.
Goes to
Williamsburg snatches the leg, and he may have a half right there if he can get his head out.
Yep. Nice little knee pick off of that, and almost took it into a cradle.
He did.
He's got the half and the wrist. This is a real basic bitty combination. One of the first things kids get, but it's very effective.
Know what? Basic, but
very
you
effective.
Watch the Iowa Hawkeyes; they'll do the same thing.
Exactly.
It's at every level. So it looks like we've got a reversal there, and Maybe another one here right away.
Wow. If he can get around.
Technically, right now, the Indian Hill wrestler is in control.
And he dumps him.
Dumps him off. He may have an easy half there if he can get it.
Yeah, and if he can keep on walking around it.
And he does. He's got, looks like a grapevine there maybe. He's got the arm trapped.
He could get a, well,
almost
now that could be a Peterson.
Well, there we go. He's got the head now.
And if he can get the arm, and he could get a Peterson cradle here. And yeah, that's kind of like a butcher, but.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
It's in the wrong position for the butcher, but anytime for our fans out there, whenever they cross the arms like that and can lock them down, normally they're chest to chest in that situation. But imagine if you had no ability to use your arms and you were on your back, you're pretty much finished at that point.
Not a lot you can do, that's right.
Right.
So it looks like we've got a little confusion here going on, maybe a change of opinion, but we've got 6-5.
Second period action.
Williamsburg is down. I didn't see that. Did he choose that?
I did not see that either. I didn't. It wasn't real clear.
I'm guessing he did. And there you go. Constant motion on the bottom forces locking hands right there out of Indian Hill. That's a free, cheap, easy point right there.
Yeah, I mean that can end up being two, Chuck, because if he could get away, they'd get one for the penalty point and one for the escape.
Exactly. And that's a situation where sometimes the referee will allow the action to continue a little bit and see if the wrestler is able to get an escape or reversal after having the hands locked against them. But again, that was still not a bad call there to just break it right away and start.
So for the fans out there, if you ever hear your wrestling coach yelling "free move,"
right,
what they're saying is there's a penalty point, and if you can get away, you're going to get an extra point with that.
Exactly. It's kind of like the old football adage of a free play when you see the defensive lineman jump.
Yes.
You can throw it deep and risk interception because you're not going to lose the ball.
Right. It's going to come back, and it's still going to be your ball. So.
Right. Same idea.
Right.
So it looks like we've got a question here about a scoring decision, possibly. So we've got a brief timeout here with 2 seconds into the second period.
And normally in these type of situations, it may be unlike other sports like basketball, football, baseball. Although baseball, you may see it if there's a discrepancy in a scorebook. They can bring the coaches can call for a conference over at the table, and they can review the scoring, which is, I guess, in effect like instant replay type of deal.
Yeah, in a way, and again, I think it's good because it addresses situations where, let's be honest, the score, they might just miss it. It's not like running the score at a basketball game where you see a basket go in and everyone knows what the score is.
Right. Then you want the score to be right.
Exactly.
So, although sometimes I have seen some heated exchanges break out on some of those things.
Without a doubt.
So Indian Hills will be on top in the top position.
Looks like we're actually going to restart the second period here. So,
but they did award that point, though.
But they did leave that on, the locking hands. So now we have an escape. So now it should be 8-6.
Yep, should be 8-6.
Or maybe
it is 8-6.
8-6.
And it was just what we were talking about, the penalty point with an escape.
Right.
And nice high crotch attempt.
Nice high crotch attempt here, but he just can't quite get in there to finish it.
Yeah.
So it looks like he might switch to an outside here. He's got the single leg now. Let's see if he can get some kind of finish here off of this.
If he can push that head down, he can defend this single leg, but he's not doing a real good job controlling the head right here.
He's really not. He did a lot better job earlier in the match, but you can see now Indian Hill has trapped his ankle there. He's actually sitting on his foot.
Williamsburg's wrestlers, that best way to defend, drive into it. And,
that's right, yeah.
And he may be able to exchange this, and he does.
Two out of it, so take down Williamsburg. So
he's a little bit too far to the front, and you may refer to hear Chuck or I refer to him being too high. That means his body's too close to the shoulders.
Right,
he needs to be back a little bit.
Too high on his opponent's body.
Right.
What that means. So got it out of bounds here. We're going to restart in the middle again. Williamsburg's in control, so he'll be on top.
I think the score is wrong. I think it should be 10-6.
I think you're right. They awarded that last takedown to the wrong wrestler.
Right. Should go to the Williamsburg wrestler.
We're going to get a brief break here while they readjust the scoreboard here.
Of course, we just talked about that. Now we're going to get about 5 of those, Chuck.
Yeah, that's right.
Where they come to the score and say,
is what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah. So we got a break in the action. On the other mat, we have North College Hill wrestling.
That's Lockland, Coach.
Lockland. And so we've got wrestling going on 2 mats at the same time. For those who are just tuning in,
right. East Clinton will be the third match of this round. They're going to wrestle Roger Bacon. They'll be on the first available mat.
Okay.
One of these two matches finishes.
So the Astros will be coming up again, trying to pick up their third win of the day, Chuck? I think they won the last.
They did win the first. Did they win the first match? I'd have to go back and look.
Yeah, I think they did win the first one, and I believe we won the second one too.
Yeah.
We'll have to check that.
I'll have to check that, Bill, to be honest.
But potentially the Astros could be maybe looking at 3-0, Chuck.
That's right, and that would be the first time they've won. Potentially, that could be the first time they've won this tournament, which would be nice to.
And that would be a great.
Win your home tournament.
Yes, and it's always nice when you can do that. Most of these schools are, actually all of them, I believe, are bigger than East Clinton.
Yeah, I believe so. Williamsburg and Lockland, I know, are close as far as enrollment-wise, but certainly aren't smaller.
Right.
Certainly aren't smaller.
Right. So, that's a feather in Coach Stalen's cap to be bringing in teams like this and competing with some bigger competition.
Right. So, we've got it all worked out. They've got it now as 9-7 Williamsburg.
How that is, nobody has an idea, but we'll
go with it. It's on the scoreboard.
Yes.
So
He's got a good half in.
Drive that over. And we're going to get a full Nelson.
Go to a full Nelson.
Yeah.
For what I guess sometime when we have an opportunity here, we'll demonstrate maybe some of these. We'll get some wrestlers in our pregame.
It's not on me.
And show. We'll show what an illegal full Nelson is in clasping. We'll give you guys a better opportunity to understand what a clasp is and what a full Nelson is. So when you see future wrestling matches, you have a better point of reference.
Right, you know what you're looking for.
He's got the wrist. Of course, actually, the Indian Hill kid's got the one wrist. He's helping the Williamsburg kid out.
Yeah, he's keeping his head down.
Oh, this could be bad here, Chuck.
Good, yeah. Williamsburg's got the half end. He's got him. And he just can't quite get him over. You can see he's too far. He's too far past.
Yeah, he's got to get the chest to the chest.
Chest to chest. You want that good chest pressure. And again, tough on bottom here. He's not giving that up easy.
But he gave up. Got 3, so 12-8 with short time.
Yeah, time out here in the second period. 12-8 Williamsburg.
Pretty good competitive match at this point, Chuck.
Yes, it is. And Indian Hill's choice, he is going to choose neutral. So wrestlers are going to start on their feet here to finish the match.
He does have a good high crotch. We'll see if he comes out and try. No, right there.
Again, Williamsburg, I think he knew that was coming.
Yep.
So.
And the Indian Hills kid shoots from a little bit too far out. He's got to tighten that up a little bit.
Probably needs a little better setup, get a little closer. What a nice ankle pick there by Williamsburg. Just snatches it right up and drives.
What a lost art, the ankle pick.
Yeah,
but
it really is.
Very pretty move when it works, and the Williamsburg kid deserves credit for setting that up really nicely.
And, for our listeners out there, just imagine how hard it is to stand on one foot with somebody pushing you, and that's the idea of what it's like to take on an ankle pick.
Exactly.
The guy picks up one foot and pushes you, and
as he pushes,
you don't have a lot of options.
No, you're going down one way or another. He's got the half in again, Chuck, and although he's real loose with that.
Yeah, not as tight as it could be for sure. He's kind of, and again, he has a tendency to want to get high here. He's got to settle back.
His head's down too much here, but he's got to get off his knees, and he's got to slide back a little. But that's looking better.
He readjusted. He's still a little too high, but he's in a better position than he was.
And it's
Indian Hill slides out the back.
So we're going to have a 3 and a 2 here, I believe.
Yeah, three near fall and then 2 reversal for Indian Hill. So
and 17-10.
Well, he's trying the far side cradle here to see if he can lock it up.
Less than 1 minute to go.
Now, down by 7 points, he really could use a pin.
He was successful in removing the arm off the.
Yeah, but now Williamsburg has wrist control. Stands up, see if he can't get. Well, nice job bringing him back to the mat by Indian Hill.
And we've got under 40 seconds to go in this last period.
Really decision time here for Indian Hill. He has to decide, down by 7 points. He either has to pin him or let him up and try to take him down.
We used to call this bag of tricks time, Chuck, where you got
right. You better pull out something.
Right.
Yeah.
Find that move that they're not expecting.
That's right. And unfortunately, we got locking hands here, so that's going to give another.
And that's going to be a free move.
and probably lock it up here.
Yeah, the Williamsburg coach was yelling free move, like we had talked about.
And it didn't work because he got the escape anyway, but so it should be 19-10 at this point.
And I think he.
And we're going to have a major decision.
Major decision, yeah. Nice match.
Good match, yeah. Good
exciting,
action.
yeah.
And again, you can tell by looking at those guys right now, 6 minutes, pretty tough to do.
Yeah, and especially when you're doing it maybe 5 times in a day.
Right,
That's.
yeah, there'll be some tired puppies at the end of this tournament.
Yep.
That's for sure.
Is that the third penalty? Is that the third penalty? Okay, it should have been 2 and 1.
So we got some last-minute adjustments to the score here, but really doesn't matter overall.
Right,
because it's
still going to be,
decision.
yeah.
Still giving Williamsburg the 4-point victory.
Yeah, we've got 19-10 would be the final here as we head into the. This is a 160-pound match.
I believe it is 160 here.
Okay, and at 160,
we're going to have a forfeit here. Looks like check that.
We've got Spencer Clowie.
Yeah, I take that back. We do have a forfeit at 160.
Okay.
170, we're going to have Patrick Keown. Sorry, Patrick, if anyone goes to Patrick
Keown, yep.
I guess.
I
Nick
believe.
Price from Indian Hill. So.
And we saw Nick Price wrestle earlier, and he was an active guy too.
Yes, he is. So we'll see if that continues in this match. So they get to the mark, shake hands, and here we go.
A little setup action on the head.
Yep. And just kind of feeling each other out right now, changing levels, slapping the mat.
And what Chuck was talking about changing levels is wrestlers will go from a higher position down near the mat, which gives them a better shot at the legs and the takedown opportunity.
And really, when at this point you're doing that, you're looking to see what your opponent's going to give you, what he's going to open up to, and maybe what takedown is available. So.
And then when we talk about setups, that's basically they'll be touching the head, moving the head back and forth, trying to get their opponent to take their eye off them and open up an opportunity.
And, maybe even push a guy in a direction where you get that foot that you want to shoot at forward.
Right. And the good experienced wrestlers will move side to side and shoot from all different angles. There's an attempt on a single.
Good action there off a single, yep, to a takedown. So
Keown takes him down. Nice job with Keown there. He's off his knees. That's good form there.
Price is in trouble here a little bit.
Yeah, he is. I think he's going to, if Keown can spread the legs.
Keown, yeah, that's tight there.
Yeah. I think Keown's going to close the door here possibly.
Good fight here, but unfortunately, the position he was in, he didn't have much to work with.
Yeah.
So
116 of the first period, Chuck.
116 by Keown, and we're moving on to 182.
North College Hill, 72.
182 is going to be a forfeit for Williamsburg.
And we're going to, we got some, is this an exhibition? Or no, we're still.
Yeah, we're still going here.
We're still going. My mistake.
That's 182, and this looks like 195 here.
And
Andrew Clark from Indian Hill taking on Justin Durham from Williamsburg here at 195.
Yep.
Hey, Roger Biggie, coach, the scores table, please. Roger Biggie, coach, the scores table.
Williamsburg's got some impressive-looking kids. Some
they do.
Kids, good stature. And
actually, we've got I'm not sure what happened there, but we didn't have that match at 195. Now we've got Tony Artis from Indian Hill versus Mike Ellison of Williamsburg at 195.
Tony Artis is a freshman.
220. Check that, Coach. 220.
Yeah, Artis is a freshman, and the first match he looked a little scared when he was out there when we saw him.
Yeah, a little timid.
Yeah.
Timid.
Let's see.
Ellison, I'm not sure what grade he's in, but I know I recognize him. He's been around a couple years, so I'd say he's at least a junior.
And he gets right on the head.
Yeah, he's going after him right away. Very aggressive.
He's got the headlock.
Little kind of a head and arm there.
Yeah.
To the mat, and again, Artis was in trouble here right away.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, you get taken down to your back, especially these upper weights. Yeah. It's a real struggle sometimes to get out of it, and especially Artis is suffering right there. And
we're looking
with the quick fall there at 23 seconds.
Yeah. So it was not much of a. We kind of thought that going in that. Artis had some struggles in earlier matches.
Right, and like we talked about, when you're an underclassman in these upper weights, you're going to be outmatched a lot of the time.
Yeah, because a lot of times you see some of these guys are offensive linemen have trimmed down a little bit, and some pretty powerful kids that are no place for young kids to be for the most part.
That's for sure. So here we've got Sam Zamis from Indian Hill and James Norris of Williamsburg here at the 285 or the heavyweight weight class. So
And Zams is a senior there.
Okay.
And let's see how this goes.
So again,
it
trying to get leverage for a throw there.
Yeah. Well, and he missed it. He slid.
Yeah, he did. He
Not
slid.
yet.
Oh.
No takedown yet.
One of these big boys here. No scoring.
A little action. He's going to try.
Hook out in front though. Let's see if he can do something with it. And they go out of bounds. So no score. We're back on our feet. A lot of action.
He was.
Big boys so far.
He was trying to set up a cement mixer on him.
Yes, he was. The old cement mixer.
With a front headlock.
Catcher or,
yeah. Front headlock and an underhook, and try to walk it through to the back, and very good effective move, especially with younger kids. One of the first things.
A big move in the Pee Wee grades. Yep. And he just got caught on his butt.
Yeah,
on
he did.
Ship, and
now, if he walks to the head, he's got the arm. He's pulling up the head, and that's looking bad.
He's in there tight too.
Yeah, Zams.
He's got the elbow right there.
I'm not so sure he wasn't pinned a little earlier.
Yeah, I think you're right. So
46
again, Norris
seconds.
Gets caught. 46 seconds into the period.
Yeah. So nice effort there, and that is the end of that dual meet between Indian Hills and.
Looks like that's going to do it.
Yep. So we've got a 1-0. Well, we forgot the light guys, Chuck. They're going to.
Maybe we have some forfeits.
Yeah, I think so too, because we got Williamsburg's already lined up, so I'm assuming they're not going to be contending these matches. At this time, we've got a young man here that wrestles for East Clinton with us, Zach Rayback. And Zach, why don't you tell us a little bit how your season's going? He's picked up a minor injury this week. Is going to miss a little bit of time. Why don't you give us a rundown on your season so far?
Yeah, thanks. This season's been pretty good so far. I've finished first at 2 tournaments and third at a pretty big tournament. Record so far is 18-1, and looking to be the school's first league champion and hopefully make it to state. I mean, it's basically my goals this year.
Zach, why don't you? We've talked to the biddy coaches and that. Talk about a little bit about your background with wrestling, when you started, and kind of the path you've went to getting to this point. In high school, I know your freshman year you suffered an injury which cut you short after 2 matches. Your sophomore year, you were at Hopewell Loudon up in Seneca County. So why don't you kind of fill us in about some of your background there in your younger years?
Oh yeah, I've been wrestling for about 13 years, and I mean, I really got a lot out of it. It didn't start off the best, but year after year it got a little bit better, and then things started to click about 6th grade. Started to get some pretty good records, made the state and junior high both years, placed there, and freshman year, like you said, I got a dislocated elbow and had to end my season short, unfortunately. Then sophomore season, kind of picked up that pace again and had a pretty successful season, about 31 wins and I'd say somewhere around 10 losses. This year, just trying to do the best I can and pick up that slack and go all the way this year.
Who's been your inspiration here in wrestling? You said you started when you were 4 or 5 years old. Anybody that was instrumental in you staying with this?
Definitely my brother. I mean, watching him, I just always had the drive to be as good as him, and he made the state his senior year, ended up placing 6th, and I've always just wanted to try and go a little bit better than that. And also college, a big thing in life is to make it to college, and if you can get money doing it at something you're good at, I mean, I think that's some inspiration right there is just trying to make it to college.
Who would you say is if there's a college wrestler, Olympic wrestler, somebody that you might model yourself after, you look up to?
I'd say Jordan Burroughs because, you look at the guy, he has all the athletic ability in the world, but he never takes it for granted. He always works hard, and he improves on everything every day. He's never satisfied with what he does, and you really got to model yourself after the best people. And I definitely say he's the best wrestler out there.
Of course, those that don't know, George Burroughs was an Olympic gold medalist in the last Olympics. So.
And Burroughs, and that's one thing Chuck and I talked about is for wrestlers, it used to be the only thing you had left after college was the Olympics. I mean, kids would wrestle all that time to get into the Olympics. And so, Zach, thank you for the time, and we're getting ready to start the next match, and good luck this year.
Yep, thank you, no problem.
Okay, and we're back. East Clinton's out there, and we've got Cameron Block at 145.
Is that Block?
Yeah, it's Cameron Block. And we have Roger Bacon's Liam Garrett, 0-1 on the season.
That, Coach. That's Gage Morgan.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's Gage Morgan.
132. That's Gage Morgan, and he has...
This is Brian Stentz, I think.
Yeah, so...
I think they bumped up
They
to...
must have bumped Gage up. Because,
to 138.
Yeah, East Clinton's normal 138, unfortunately, is out today. So
Yeah, that would be Noah Morgan.
Right.
And
so Gage is pulling duty here by bumping up to wrestle in a higher weight class and holding his own right now. He's up 2-0.
Yeah, and again, Gage got his first win of the year in his first match and takes the man right back down the mat, returns to the mat.
Before escape can be awarded. So he's going to try to run that half, see if he can come out and run it. Comes up, out.
And wow.
And
that was nearly a disastrous move. They're going to be called out here, I believe.
No reversal, though. Gage is still
not
in
yet,
control.
right? He's got his hands around the waist. And
it looks like he's going to stay in control. So
did he call legal headlock?
Start in the middle. And he changed his mind. Referee determines that
lost control.
Right, he was free enough to say he lost control. So we're going to start off neutral here, 2-1. About 45 seconds to go here.
For our fans out there, sometimes wrestlers will go off the mat, and if the wrestler who's in control appears to no longer be in control, although it may look like he is, sometimes they will award a point for that.
Exactly. And again, that is one of those judgment calls that in wrestling, people may question. But
Gage is.
It's pretty straightforward. And Gage again.
Gage is in on the legs. If he can finish this, Chuck.
That's right.
You got to pick that up. He's really got to pick that leg up, Chuck. He can get around the corner on this. If he can pop the head.
If he pops his head out, I think he's got it.
Yeah, I think he is too. And
there we go. Nice takedown.
4-1 with 5 seconds to go, first period. Gage has got the half in, and he's trying to
ride him out there. So that's the end of one. We've got 4-1 Gage Morgan of East Clinton.
Gage putting together a nice effort here in the first period.
He certainly has. Gage's choice, his coaches tell him choose down. So Gage is going to start in the down position here.
State champs pick down.
That's right.
So it's
will be on top here.
People wonder why they pick down, as that's the easiest position to score from.
Exactly. Yeah, in fact, I think a lot of people new to wrestling think, well, I ought to just go on top because I'm already in control.
Right.
But again, the opportunities to score.
Oh, we got a Peterson here, Chuck.
Yeah, we do. He's going to pressure back in and see if he can't get him.
Yeah, although he's a little high, but I think...
He's awful tight, though. I think Gage is stuck here, Coach. And he is. So, unfortunately, Gage started out well and was up on the scoreboard, but again, that doesn't matter when you get pinned. So
2:22 of the second period, and... Gage has been, he's more competitive here.
Certainly has been.
Earlier weeks, I don't know that he was really ready for the competition, but today he showed that he's ready to step out there and wrestle hard.
Right. So here we have Cameron Block here at 145, and he's got, looks like Liam Garrett.
Liam's 0-1, and he's a 10th grader just like Cameron.
Okay,
so we should have an interesting match here.
Should be. And again, like we mentioned before, Cameron is a long, lean type wrestler. Going to be taller than most of his opponents that he wrestles.
Got a shot in on him. Now, if he can elevate this, he can do what they call push-pull and take him over.
Or shoot, split the star, or shoot the star. A lot of different names for that. But basically, you're just coming out the backside there and ended up in control from behind. But doesn't work out. They're back on their feet. We're neutral.
Yep.
Again, Cameron sprawls hard, gets his hips in, trying to control the head.
Cameron should be trying to down the head here and get around, and he does.
So 2 points. And Cameron in control. Probably wants to be under the shoulder, not over top of the shoulder there.
He was.
why there? Bacon's trying to roll him there.
Garrett was trying to do a version of the Fat Man roll there to roll him through, but no success. Cameron fended it off.
And again, it's going to be tough to hit a move on someone like Cameron because he has such good hips and wrestles in such a quote-unquote funky style.
Right.
Moves like that are probably not going to work very well against him.
Right, and that's what makes these kind of kids hard for anybody.
Exactly, he's a very non-traditional type wrestler.
Right. Cameron's a typical kind of kid that will upset a good wrestler because good wrestlers are so well trained that sometimes they just don't expect that kind of stuff.
Well, that's right, and your reaction is a non-typical reaction that they're not used to.
Right. And again, Cameron kind of rolls through a bad situation, and
there you go, and helps himself out.
Yep.
Very, very similar to the style of a Jeff Jaggers of Ohio State.
Yep, a low single attempt by Cameron. He's in pretty deep.
Let's see if he can't finish.
If he can climb the body here, Chuck, you take him right to the bow.
He's got him. There's two.
Yep.
Nice job by Block to finish that. See if he can't turn this into something.
Short time.
Short time.
Yeah.
So
about 9 seconds.
Out here.
He's got he almost got a little tilt action to add to the.
See, controls him, brings him back to finish the period there. So
very good.
Nice
very good.
flurry there at the end out of Garrett to almost get one there, but.
Yep.
But again, Block controls him. So Garrett's going to start down here.
Well.
Block mounts.
Cameron's had a nice showing today.
Yes, he has.
And he's seems to be picking up confidence every round.
Picked up the near ankle there.
Heading to bow and arrow, as some people call it.
Yeah, or near side cradle. Different names for it. But just loses control on maybe a little too funky roll there.
Yep.
Garrett ends up with one. So we're at 4-2 here. About 30 seconds into the second period.
Yeah, it's you imagine what it would be like to have somebody sticking your head right into your rib cage and kind of try to split you in two like
That's
that.
Right, and like you said, bend you like a bow and arrow, or
yep. A head and arm, but Cam could slide out of this.
But nice pressure by Garrett to not give up on that.
I agree.
Because it'd have been real easy to bail out there. I think a lot of wrestlers would have.
Cameron's going to get his hips down to the mat, which is important in defending this.
Right. So Blocks actually, you see what he did. He got to his side hips. Comes standing on the sideline screaming for him to see where he's at on the mat. He's really close to being out of bounds.
Right, and he's got a leg off right now, Chuck. If he can get another shoulder off, he can protect himself from getting pinned.
That's right, can't be pinned out there. So
now he's got the leg over.
See if he can't lock that leg and roll him through is what he's trying to do.
He can get out of this. If he can get out of this with, now here's where the loss. Okay.
See if we get a loss.
Yeah, that's what we were hoping for.
Not coming though, is it?
No.
So, 3 near fall points awarded to Garrett. So that puts Garrett up 7-4.
Yep.
About 37 seconds to go here in the period.
And Cam's going to have to get himself scrambling here to get a point, get back to where a takedown can tie this up. And he's almost there. There you go.
Garrett got out in front, couldn't do anything with it. So
exactly.
There's an easy one for Block.
Now, if he can get a good solid shot here, we could be looking at a tie ball game going into the third period.
It'd be nice to get a takedown here and tie things up before the end of the period, but since he can do it. Closing in on 10 seconds in the period.
Low single. He's got it. If he can climb the body, Chuck, get to that.
And looks like Garrett's knee's been a little too far. Referee calls potentially dangerous. And we're going to start over. 5 seconds left. Probably going to just end the period here.
Low single again. Oh, no. Fend it. Oh, woo. Oh.
Wow.
Well, that's questionable.
Call there for sure, but takedown awarded there. Block again took a wild shot with no setup.
Yep.
And, that works both ways. You finish it great. If not, you get caught in a situation like that where he gave up an easy two.
Yeah.
So he starts down 9-5 in the down position here to begin the third period.
Tried to catch him off guard, and it backfired on him. Cameron can't allow that leg in there like that.
That's right, and Garrett does. He throws the leg in, tries to break him down using his hips.
Hipped over. Now, a lot of times they'll try to defend that by grabbing the hip of the leg that's in between the legs and pull that down to the mat.
Or even just as simple as reach in between and pull his foot out.
Right, and just block it. Now Cameron's in a scoring position. If he can stand up.
Yep, he's got Garrett caught out in front again. He stands up, so he's got one.
There we go. There we go.
9-6 now. Minute 30 to go in the third period. Blocked down by 3, but
He's going to have to make the magic happen here, Chuck.
that's for sure. Okay, Garrett again tying up. Collar ties. They shuck each other. We're back to circling.
Now Cam's had good opportunities on low singles because Garrett uses a staggered stance and puts that foot out in front too far.
Exactly. Puts the lead foot out and
Yep, just like that right there.
kind of sugarfooting him now. Or
Yep.
trying to get him to take it.
Yep.
But block doesn't fall for the bait.
Now he's trying to. Must have a counter move planned for him next
I'm sure
time.
he does. Yeah, he wouldn't do that for no reason.
Oh, could have got a hit. We missed an opportunity for a nice front headlock.
Nice
There we go. There we go.
Block sprawls hard.
Now he's got to get around. And he does get around.
So there we go. A situation where they both gave each other an easy takedown in this match.
Now we can't stay here too long on this, Chuck.
No, that's right. This situation, like we talked about before, he's got to decide. I'm either going to turn this guy or I'm going to let him go and take him down again. And the way
Kick him
he's
out.
hanging on right now, he's in a bad position.
He's got to kick him out.
Yeah, at this point he really does because he hasn't proven he can turn him.
Well, no, he's laying on his side too. I don't think Cameron realizes they're telling him to kick him out on this.
Yeah, I don't think he can.
And if he loses this, he's going to give up another two.
There's a reversal by Garrett, so it's all for naught. It's going to end up
Yep.
11-8 here as time runs out.
Well, he does get a
Block,
point.
He does get an escape, but it's not going to be enough. 11-9 is the finish.
And you know that's part of experience there, Chuck. Mad awareness. You got to keep an eye on the clock and the score.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
And you got to be aware of when you're not going to turn the kid in that amount of time. You got to kick him out and take him down.
Right. And so here we've got Charles Urban at 152.
And Chuck I think he'll get a forfeit on this.
Yeah, I think he will. I don't think we'll have another match.
They may be bumping up Morgan Toll up to 182 to wrestle Josh Engel.
Okay.
Josh is 10-8, senior. We'll see, or else he's going to get a forfeit for 170. Find out in a moment.
Be clear of that too, please.
Yep, that's what they're
Okay,
doing.
they are. Toll's going to wrestle 182. So here we have
And we've got
Engel and Morgan Toll.
Josh is a senior. He was third in sectionals, district qualifier last year. So Morgan's got to be clean on this match.
Yes, he does. Morgan aggressive, takes a shot right away, but not a very good setup, and it's blocked, but he's still in there. See if he can't keep coming.
Got to keep that head up.
And again, here's a situation where he went in too wide. His elbows were too wide. He allowed Engel to get under his elbow.
He hurt it. I think he hurt his shoulder,
I
Coach.
do too. Yeah, that didn't look good. Just
At the last meet, Morgan had suffered a shoulder, actually an elbow hyperextension.
Oh, really?
And had just been cleared to come back to action. So that might be a little bit weak right now still.
yeah, I'm sure it would be. That's those kind of joint things aren't easy to recover from.
No, not when people are cranking on them
That's
every
right.
week.
Wrestling, unfortunately, has a lot of that. So.
Yeah. Wrestling's part of enduring injuries and being able to pop back from them.
That's exactly right. That's part of the mental toughness that wrestling has.
And that's why so few kids gravitate to the sport anymore.
I think that has a lot to do with it. I have to agree with you.
You hear a lot of objections to, I don't want to go out there and, be grabbing another guy or doing this type of stuff. And I think it's all a defense mechanism type of thing where it's just a tough sport and it takes a lot of guts to get out there and do it.
And that's it. Wrestling puts you in a lot of situations that you don't face in other sports. I can't think of another high school sport
Yeah,
where
Morgan.
You're singled out there one-on-one against another opponent in front of everybody.
Exactly.
And so, in football, if you miss a block,
not everybody
a lot
knows.
of people aren't going to see that.
Right.
In wrestling, if you mess up, everybody's watching.
Right.
And so Morgan's still down here.
Yeah.
Fortunately, able to come back.
He's got to peel that hand off there, Chuck.
Yeah, that's it. And he
tries a little bit of a
funky roll through there, and he did get the elbow free off that.
But it didn't get him to where he wanted.
There
we go. He could get a one. He should probably get a one.
He's got it locked.
He's got the leg in there.
Trying to cradle him, see if Morgan can't tough this out and get out of this.
Yeah, it's got that.
And again, he keeps
Near
fighting
side
to get back
there.
to his feet. That's a good thing, but
Yeah.
he's got to keep that head up, like we talked about all day.
You
closer
know,
your head is to that knee, the worse situation you're in.
and Morgan's got a strong set of legs.
Yes, he does.
Shouldn't let himself get cradled like that at any point.
A strong man. Strong young man.
But it's up to 4-0 with 25 seconds to go in the first period. And if he can get himself up and going here, but right now it looks like he's just going to try to get through the period, Chuck.
Yeah, I think so. Ingle's just going to kind of ride him out, too. Not a lot of aggressiveness out of either
Yeah.
guys. You know, this is the third match of the day for these guys at this point. These bigger guys are probably getting pretty tired.
And for those that don't know, in wrestling, the state of Ohio has a rule that you can only wrestle 5 times in one day. So this is going to be 5 dual meets. So if a kid has a match for every opponent, then they will end up with their 5 matches for the day.
That's exactly right. 5-match limit. So here we go to start the second. Toll will be on top here, down 4-0.
Goes to an ankle.
And
Not
quick stand up.
Almost pins himself there, Chuck.
Yeah, unfortunately, you know that's not a real good position to be in with the guy right in front of you and you just picking him up.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of places to put him.
No, generally you don't want to see a wrestler pull their opponent back into him.
That's exactly right.
Unless you've got a foot behind the heel so that you know that you're going to trip them,
Kind of a trip, right?
and that didn't work very well.
So Ingle looks like maybe now he's going to work the far side trade
Yep.
here, and
Yep, I agree.
it looks like we got a potentially dangerous call here. Couldn't quite see it because of our positioning, but I assume something with Toll was bending a little too far the wrong way.
Yeah.
So
Well, and
he resets it here.
another thing for our fans is that the man on the bottom, when we tell him to work on the hands, they're allowed to grab an individual finger and just pull on it because that would be an unfair advantage.
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah. You can grab the fingers as a group, but you cannot grab one and twist it around.
Right, because we could get a potential dislocation or broken finger. Now Toll's in a scoring position if he can get his hips back.
That's right.
Oh,
Nice job by Ingle to maintain.
yeah, he did a great job returning him to the mat.
Yeah. So here Ingle with a half.
Yeah, he's
Pretty good technique here.
If he can get that other arm, Chuck, it's going to be a tough one for
Chest
Morgan.
to chest.
Oh, nice position.
Yeah, Morgan's really a really good bridger, but unfortunately you can see Ingle had his head there. There was really nowhere to go. So.
Yeah, we're looking at 3:13 of the third period, and Engel picks up a W. Game effort by Toll, but he just ran out a little juice, I think.
Yeah,
there.
showed a lot of heart there. But,
Yeah.
but again,
And we'll get Nate Morgan, who's got a winning streak, Coach.
yes, he does. Taking on Scotty Too Hotty here, our in-house big timer, Scotty King.
Then Scotty's 8-6 on the year, 12th grader, third at the Norwood Invitational, 4th in sectionals, second district qualifier,
returning district qualifier, right.
And Nate's going to have his hands full here.
Right. So they're tied up here. Kind of feeling each other out, looking for a setup here.
Trying to see who can pummel to get the inside position on him.
That's exactly right. We talked about a lot today. You want to have your elbows inside. You want to be tied inside. And
Yeah.
that's exactly what they're doing, fighting for that inside position.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing you'll see a lot more in the heavier weights is the hand fighting.
Right.
And something that you see in football on the offensive and defensive line as
Sure.
well. So kind of a natural carryover for a lot of these guys.
Well, sometimes in sports, people, you look at the arms and legs and things like that, but it really, a lot of times, the hands have a lot to do with, you think about it in all sports.
Very true.
Offensive
Yeah.
linemen,
Often
you're looking for hand placement, and basketball players have to be able to, catch the ball, manipulate it to shoot it, and wrestling's really no different.
So still kind of
A little bit of a
slide by
Yep.
there, and catches him. Morgan really just loses his balance,
and he's got a cradle.
Scotty's there to capitalize.
Oh, nice.
Far side cradle, but Nate breaks the
Yeah,
lock there.
yeah.
So Iron King looking to jump sides here maybe and run the half.
And maybe looking for a gable there, but
Yeah.
he's got the arm bar, and
He does have he's got the bar.
and Nate's in some trouble
One more
right
big
now.
step here, and I think he's got him.
Yep.
And there we go. That's the fall. So Iron King really in control of that whole match.
128
2-0.
of the first period, and Scotty Too Hotty wins by fall.
Another W.
I think that's it for this one. I think the rest of ours are going to get some.
Yeah, Josh Roberts will get his hand raised here at 220.
And Peyton Vest is going to get his W.
Hey, there we go. Peyton Vest getting a forfeit at 285 as well. So
there you go. And we've got Josh Roberts picking up a forfeit win. And Peyton Vest, first victory of the year. Nice job. And poor Josh. Josh has 3 wins, is yet to take the mat.
Right. Anderson, Van der Windsor here with a forfeit.
Wow. And looks like the Astros will remain undefeated here for the
That's right. Yeah.
for the tournament.
And I think the Astros won that one on the scale before they ever even wrestled.
Yeah, they did. And
but you know what? That says something about Coach Stalin and his staff. The fact that they're able to recruit enough guys to fill weight classes.
Okay. Okay, just to let our fans out there know that there is going to be a 20-minute break after this round concludes, and we will be leaving the air for about that 20-minute period of time, returning with the last couple rounds of the tournament. Again, East Clinton at this point sits at 3-0.
Right, 30-21 in that last one.
30-21. The Astros pick up another W, and things are looking good right now for the East Clinton boys, and hopefully we'll finish up strong, Chuck, and finish up 5-0 on a day. That'd be a great accomplishment for Coach Stalin.
Sure would.
Come back and join us. It would be great for us to launch our East Clinton network with a big, impressive win like that.
Absolutely. You know, you guys are bringing the luck to us, and that's what we like to see. And
that, of course, if that happens, then we have to broadcast everything.
Well, that's right. You know,
yes, we are. So
that's right. Yeah. Well, it's amazing sometimes how cameras change people's personas on how they're going to perform.
Yeah, and absolutely. I mean, you know, obviously we've done the radio broadcasts, and radio, but it's not the same as television. Yeah. When we can actually put a picture with the audio, that makes all the difference in the world. Right.
Well, when you can put the face with the name, the accountability goes up a little bit there. So,
for sure,
we're just excited to be able to have GTVR out here and in agreement with East Clinton schools to be able to promote our athletic and educational programs here at the school, and we're looking forward to a long and fruitful relationship with the station.
Absolutely. Right. Well, I guess we'll take our break and
come back and join us,
give
folks.
everybody to take a breath and just come back in 20 minutes.
We'll see you guys in 20 minutes.
That's right.
Go take a break and hit the kitchen hard. See you guys later.